Just checking everything. This is not going to be for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Get some matchsticks for those eyes, because you're going to need to use them to keep them open. Right, just going to do some checks. Just bear with me. Okay, yeah, sound seems good. Right, so this is going to be the first ever live stream I've done, basically going through my entire process of how I hunt for a multi-tool. So this isn't a system that I know there's an S-class in, this isn't a system I've ever been to before, it's brand new, I've just arrived, and we're currently in a Viking Tier 2 system. So if you're the things that you're going to require for looking for multi-tools, if you want to do it as quickly as you can and as efficiently as you can, the first thing that you're going to need to do is collect a load of navigation data, which is this stuff here. So this is absolutely essential for the hunt. You need this because what you need to do is you need to convert all of this nav data into these commercial maps here, these planetary charts. So at any one time, when I'm looking for a tool and I'm setting out for a new hunt, a fresh cold hunt, I always have at least 100 to 200 of these maps, right? So I'm just going over the complete basics here for anyone that wants to watch this back and sort of understand what we need to do. So this guy here on the space station, the cartographer, this is where you'll get your maps from, and the only ones that we need to worry about are these ones here. So the red commercial cartographer data, this is the only one that we use, and you just want to get as many as you possibly can of these maps. So I'll just sort of get, say, just 50, because I've already got quite a few in my inventory. So as you can see, I've got quite a few there. Now I'm going to show you kind of there's no quick way of doing this. It's a very long-winded process, but you can make it a lot more longer than you need to, or you can sort of speed things up and make it as quick as you can. So I'm going to kind of just walk you through kind of what I'm doing and just show you exactly what I do. So always look for a tier 2 or a tier 3 system. So first and foremost, you'll never ever find an S-class tool in a tier 1 system, so just forget them. Tier 1 systems, waste of time, and particularly for S-class tools, you'll never find an S-class tool. So you can upgrade tools and you can still find alien tools and you can still find experimental tools, but you just won't ever be able to find them as S-class. So always make sure the first thing that you do is go to a tier 2 or tier 3 system. Now, just a rule of thumb, I always try and avoid systems that just have 2 or 3 planets. Always try and go for a system which has at least 4 to the maximum of 6, and always make sure you try and find a system that doesn't have any moons. So if you want to basically speed this up and make this quite quickly, you want to avoid systems with moons. So as you can see here, I'm in a system which is a tier 2, so this is a tier 2 system. I find just as many S-class tools in tier 2 systems as I do in tier 3, and there's actually no difference in the speed. Sometimes I'll find an S-class tool in a matter of minutes in a tier 2, but it could take 2 or 3 hours, and it's the same for tier 3. There's no difference whatsoever between them. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a 6-planet system here and no moons. So the first thing that I'll do is once you've got your nav data and you've converted that into these maps, the first thing to do is just always check the space station cabinet. The reason to do this is I'm going to quickly, so I've not seen this tool before, right, so this is an A class, right, this cabinet, not the tool, but the cabinet is an A class. So this class here is the cabinet class and not the tool class, right? So that's the first thing that can confuse people. This tool here might actually be a natural B class and not an A class, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So the reason why we first check the space station cabinet is because, so first and foremost, I sort of just need to explain just very, very briefly the mechanics around multi-tools and their different classes, right? So every single system has up to a maximum of 21 different multi-tools in each and every system. That's the maximum, but some systems, like for instance a 2-planet system, they may only have 4 multi-tools, 2 on each planet, or 6 multi-tools it would be, potentially 2 on the space station, 2 on each planet, a total of 6. And every single tool in the system will be a native class. So there will always be an absolute minimum on the space station, as well as every single planet and moon, a minimum of 2 multi-tools, 2 different multi-tools. And those 2 multi-tools, one of them will be an A class and one of them will be a C or a B class. So with just the minimum of 2 tools, one is always an A class and one will either be a C or a B class. You can get up to 5 different tools, 5 different tool varieties in each pool, up to a maximum of 21 per system. So obviously in a 6-planet system, you're not going to get 5 different tools on each planet, because that will be kind of 30 different tools and it goes way above the limit. So some will have 2, some will have 4, some will have 3, and so on and so on. Now each tool, I mentioned the native class, the natural class, and each tool will have what we call a natural/native class. And all that means is if we see, for instance, this tool here, if we can confirm that this tool is a natural A class, what happens in terms of the mechanics is this natural A class tool will spawn in A class cabinets, but it can also spawn in B class cabinets or an S. So every single tool, once you define its native natural class, it can either spawn in its native class in a cabinet, or in a cabinet which is 1 class below or 1 class above its natural class. So a natural A class tool can be S or B. If this was a natural B class tool, it could spawn as an A or a C, and a natural C class tool will spawn as just a C or a B. So a C class and a B class tool, you'll never ever find that in the wild as an S class rifle or pistol. It's impossible. You'll have to upgrade those tools. So the only tools that we want to care about are these tools here, A class, natural native A class tools, because we know for a fact that this natural A class tool, if it is an A class tool, can spawn as an S class, right? So with all that being said, the reason why we check the space station cabinet first is because more often than not, this cabinet is the native class of the tool. And notice I said more often than not, it isn't always the case, but kind of seven times out of 10, this space station cabinet here, the class of this cabinet will most of the time be the native class of whatever tool spawns into this cabinet. So because this space station cabinet is an A class, and this is random, I've just literally landed in this system, because this is an A class, what we can now do is go to every single planet in this system and see which of these planets potentially could spawn an exotic tool. Now, more often than not, these planets will just spawn standard rubbish looking pistols or rifles. Kind of one in every maybe 5 or 6 systems will have a exotic tool, but that exotic tool might not even be a natural A class. It might just be a B or a C. So it is literally RNG. It's pot luck. There's no possible way of sort of there's no way of finding out before you get to any system what type of tool that system is going to spawn. It doesn't matter if it's a Vy'keen, it doesn't matter if it's a Gek or a Korvax. In my experience, the race and the tier and the type of the space station and all these factors mean absolutely nothing in terms of what tool is going to spawn. The only thing that does seem to be common and quite a pattern is the colours of the tool. Just like the frigates and the freighters and some ships in a space station, the colour of the tool is a lot of the time aligned to the system colour and the colour of the space station. Not all the time, but a lot of the time it is. So the colour is kind of the only thing that might you might be able to sort of find out just by looking at the space station and stuff. So yeah, so right, so I've got all my charts, I've got all the admin work done. We've got to the cabinet and we can see that this is potentially a natural A class. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly down to each planet and literally just land anywhere and reload on each planet and see what spawns into that space station cabinet. So what I tend to do is, you'll always have a planet here which is closest to the station. I don't go to that one. This is the last planet that I'll check, because it can be sometimes quite confusing with all the planets in the system. So I move in a clockwise direction, so I know there's a planet just there, but I'm just going to quickly pulse through these rings and see if there's one hidden around here. Right, there's one just behind the planet there, so I'm going to start with this planet here, and we're just going to pulse to this planet and reload a save as soon as we get there. So just the mechanics on that. So if you reload a save on each planet, what that does is it brings that planet's multi-tool pool into the complete system-wide pool of tools. So every single tool, whether this has got 2, 3, 4 or 5 tools on this planet as part of its pool, every single one of these tools, once I've reloaded on this planet, so we're heading to say this planet here, once I've reloaded on this planet's multi-tool pool will now become available on this planet, this planet, this planet, this planet and this planet. So whatever planet you reload on, that then becomes the system-wide default pool of multi-tools. Doesn't matter what planet you go to. And the only way to change that and to get a different set of tools to spawn is to reload on a different planet or on the space station. So that's why we're going down to the planet and why we're going to reload on this planet. So I don't even pay attention to anything on here. I'll just do a quick reload and then I'm going to go straight back up to the station and see what we've got. This could be a 2 or 3 hour stream, by the way, so I'm just managing people's expectations here. I don't expect anyone to kind of watch the whole stream or even watch it back fully once it's finished, but this is my entire process and what you do when you hunt multi-tools, and I'll show you kind of what I do when I get to a system that has like a C-class tool, a C-class cabinet in the space station. Right, so I've just reloaded on that planet. So that planet's A-class tool, it might be a B-class, but we're assuming at the moment that the space station cabinet is a native natural A-class. So that planet that I just reloaded on, that planet's A-class tool now will spawn into this cabinet on the space station. So what we've just done is we've just changed the multi-tool now that's going to appear. Only one multi-tool from each planet will appear in the same cabinet. So you can't, for instance, on that planet we were just on, if you see two different tools in two different cabinets, one's a B cabinet, one's an A, only one of those tools will spawn into the A cabinet. You can't make tools jump classes. It doesn't work like that. So that's planet 1 done, and we're going to quickly go up and check the cabinet. And it's a standard rubbish pistol, but as you'll see, the cabinet class is always locked, but the multi-tool changes. So that is now 2 different multi-tools we've seen. And we're going to now go to the next one. So again, working clockwise. So we've just done this planet here. So we're going to continue looking round, just up and down. And there's the next planet there. So that is going to be the next planet. And we're going to head to this planet and do exactly the same thing. And we're going to do this for every single planet in this system. And what that does is we'll then see every single planet's native A-class, and hopefully one of these might be an alien or an experimental. And then once we find one, it might take 2 or 3 systems, but once we find one, I'll show you what you do from that point onwards, and you can do a relatively quick way or you can do a long way, but either way it's not a quick process. So again, we just reload the save here, and you'll start to see sort of how repetitive. I find this relaxing after work and stuff, but you'll start to see how repetitive this is and how potentially long-winded it is to find just one tool. And that's why the multi-tool hunting community is tiny, really, really small. Because it's not for the faint-hearted, and it can be, some would see it as very boring, almost like dead gaming. But I quite enjoy it. Back in we go. So far we've seen this. Whenever you enter a system, you'll always be greeted with the space station multi-tool pool. So if you port it into a system, or you just go, fly to the next system via the galaxy map, the multi-tool pool that you'll always see first is the default pool, and that is this space station pool. So that's another rubbish tool. It's a standard pistol, mid-rifle, sorry. This is actually a rifle, a standard rifle. But again, look, you can see the cabinet class is fixed. So the cabinet is always fixed. This never changes. The only time that this will ever change is if there's a glitch, if your game is glitching, or if there's a major update in the game, like Origins or Frontiers. That's the only scenario where these cabinets can change. Nothing else can change this. So if people basically get to a location that tool hunters have discovered and they say, oh, the tool's not here or it's a different class, 99.9% of the time it's because that person has done something wrong and not follow the instructions, because these just simply don't change. It's one of the game mechanics. And yeah, look, as we go along, you'll start to see sort of what ships are in the system as well. Right, so we've done the space station, and we've now done 2 planets, and we're going to go to the 3rd. So again, continue clockwise, and just move round, and we've got 2 here. So I'll go to the one that's furthest away, so it's going to be the smaller one. So I'll go to this one first, just get it out of the way with. So because this is an A-class cabinet, as you can see, I haven't used any maps yet. You need to use maps regardless, but if we'd got into a system and that space station cabinet was a C-class or a B-class, I would have used maps already. And I'll talk about that if we get to that in the next system. It would be nice if you could just instantly spawn to these planets from the space station. That would be quite a cool feature. Sort of would cut out about 20 seconds to a minute every time. But it's all part of the experience. Right, so we're about to, again, land anywhere on these planets, doesn't make any difference. So I'll just land here, and then as soon as you get out of the ship, it creates the restore point, and then just reload that save. And we've now once again spawned this planet's multi-tool pool into the complete system-wide pool. So we've just cancelled out the last planet's multi-tool pool now, and this planet's new multi-tool pool is now going to be the pool that we see on every other planet in the system and the space station. And back to the space station we go. This is what I'm currently using. I found this just before Christmas. It's quite a nice one, this one. These lipsticks are very rare. They're probably, in my opinion, they're not the rarest aliens in the game, but they're extremely rare tools. And you can get the damage really high. I mean, I'm already at 9349, and most of these modules are kind of just nowhere near max. So we'll get back to the station and see what that planet has spawned. And like I said, look, this might be a long stream, because more often than not, most systems won't have an alien or experimental in an A-class. So it might be a case that we do 2 or 3 different systems and we don't see a single exotic tool, and that's just the way it is. It's an RNG game, it's luck, and you kind of create your own luck in this game, because the more systems you visit, the more things you'll see and the more things you'll experience. So this is another rifle that is just spawned. Again, this stays the same, and these modules will typically stay the same as well. But again, we've got a different tool, so we could potentially get this as an S-class, but I won't bother. I'm looking for an alien or an experimental today. Right, so that's another planet done, and I think we've probably got 2 or 3 left, so we've got to go to the big one. And then and I think there's one just tucked behind that planet as well that we need to do. Johnny says, what's the most rare multi-tool? Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I've got an opinion on that, and I could probably, you know, if you spend hours upon hours sifting through all of the documented tools on Reddit and like the Interstellar Index on Facebook and the wiki page and all sorts of things, and obviously with experience as well, like, you know, I've been doing this for thousands of hours, so I've got a good view on what is rare and what isn't rare. But I would say that the rarest tool in the game, and it's the tool that every single multi-tool hunter, myself included, Lava Lamp, Hazuka Dojo, Scotty on Reddit, pretty much any active tool hunter, their kind of end game tool, their ultimate find, I would imagine every one of them would say an experimental rifle with both crystals and plasma tubes. So not just crystals or not just plasma tubes, but both of those exotic features on an experimental rifle is by far, I think, the rarest possible tool that you can find in this game. You'll find that on Reddit and all of the places where people log their finds, in any class, that is probably, well, it is certainly the least documented tool out there. I mean, I've been doing this for thousands of hours. I've found pretty much every possible tool and combination you can possibly think of, and Lava Lamp is the biggest legend. He's the best and most experienced multi-tool hunter in this game, and both myself and Lava Lamp, we've never found one. And again, we've got another rifle here. We've never ever found that combination. I found one with horns on a pistol, and Lava's found one with horns on a rifle, like glow tubes and horns, but never crystal. So that's definitely the rarest tool. But in terms of, like, if you take the combination there out of the equation, plasma tubers just in general are incredibly rare. A lot of players won't ever see one. Even, you know, active tool hunters don't find that many. But I think there's a tool. There's two types of alien tools which I think are actually rarer than plasma tubes, and they are alien tools that have sharp tooths on them. It's a single sharp tooth on the top and two sharp tooths kind of at an angle which is horizontal at the very end of the barrel either side. I can probably count on one hand how many of the two-pronged ones are found, and on the other hand how many of the single sharp tooth aliens I've found. But I've found, you know, at least a dozen lipsticks, and I've found probably at least 6 or 7 plasma tube rifles, and I found about 20 pistols with plasma tubes. I don't even post a lot of the pistols that I find these days, because I don't, unless they've got crystals or horns, I very rarely post pistols now. Yeah, you're fairly new to the game, so still learning. Yeah, so yeah, it's extremely rare, and like I said, it's luck. There's no possible, from what we know, and you know, we do speak with one another, the multi-tool hunters and stuff, and not myself, but a couple do a bit of data mining and stuff like that. And as far as we know, there's no possible way that you can predetermine what tool that you're going to see in a particular system. It's just complete luck. There is a process to follow, which is what I'm going to show you now, of how to find the tools, and there's a process to follow, an exact process to follow, to get an S-class tool to spawn. So once you find the tool, finding the tool is probably the time-consuming part of hunting. Once you find the tool, and we know we can get that in S-Class, it could be found in 10 minutes, or it could potentially take 3 or 4 hours. Again, that part of it is a little bit RNG as well. But yeah, this is going to be quite a long-winded video here, and you know, people might want to skip stuff, but if you skip through, you might miss some important information. Obviously, these bits in between the planets you can just skip right through if people are going to watch it back. And then, right, so we've got one more planet to do after this, and so far, as you can see, we haven't found anything good yet. We don't care about any other tool either, because only A-class tools can be found as an S-class. So even if this tool had, this system had 21 different tools, I don't care, because I'm only interested in the A-class tools. So again, look, pistol, rubbish, fixed class. The cabinets are always fixed class. And then we go to our very last planet now, which is the one that's right in front of us. So the last planet I always check is the closest planet to the space station. And as you can see, we've got just this last one to do here. So I will do this with every system, and I'm sort of hoping we get a system that doesn't have an A-class in the cabinet, so I can show you what I do if there isn't an A-class tool there, because I actually look for an S-class or an exotic tool in every single system that I visit. So you'll see in a minute the cluster of systems that I go to, like on my way towards the centre, they're very, very close together, and I'll show you that in a moment. So this is just a quick one to the space station from here. Let's see what we've got. This is the last one. Doesn't look like it's good. No, it's another pistol. Right, so we've just basically done that entire system, and as you can see, all 6 planets there, we reloaded on every single one of them, and none of them returned an exotic tool. We don't need to worry about any other thing in this system now. We can just move straight on to the next system. So that system is done. So what I'll do is I'll quickly upload the details there, and then on to the next system. And like I said, I'll just show you again, when it comes to choosing the system, I just go to down on the D-pad, so I bring up the life form, and as you can see, my cluster, every system you can see there with circles around it, they're the systems that I've previously come from. So as you can see, I don't jump big distances, like a lot. If I go all the way back, if someone was to follow me and do a trail, I mean, in some of my saves, it's even much more of a closer cluster than what this is. I mean, sometimes it's an entire region I will do of just completely seeing every single every single system. So I always sort of head towards the centre when I'm sort of jumping systems. But all I'm looking for is if it's a tier 2 or a tier 3. So the first thing that you need, sorry, I forgot to mention this at the start, is in your ship you must, on the anomaly, you must get a economy scanner, which is this here. Don't need to worry about anything else really, but this is essential. You need an economy scanner, so you can buy this with nanites on the anomaly. So that is the very, very first thing that you need, is that, because that will help you kind of find the systems. So how I look for systems is I go down on the D-pad, so I bring up Lifefall. A lot of people think that Vy'keen, the red systems, have a better chance of spawning tools, but in my experience I can probably see where they're coming from, but I don't think that that's a thing. It is completely random, so we have no idea what any of these systems are potentially going to spawn. It's complete luck. But what I'm looking for is a tier 2 or a tier 3 system. Doesn't matter about anything else. All I'm looking for is for a tier 2 or tier 3. And what I want is a system that has at least 4 planets, and I don't want any moons. So that there has got a moon. I can see the moon going around the planet, so I'm not going to go to that system. I'll talk about why I don't want moons shortly, but so this system here looks like it's got 5 planets. So just having a look around, doesn't look like it's got any moons. It's sustainable, so that's a tier 2 economy, and it's Gex, so absolutely fine. I'm just going to go straight here. Hopefully there was no moons there. It's quite important to miss out moons, and I'll show you why as we sort of move on with this video. Right, so we've just got into a brand new system, as you can see, never been here before. First contact, it's 5 planets, and it's a tier 2. So yet again, the first thing that I'll do is go to the space station cabinet and just check out what is on the space station. And as I mentioned in the previous system, whenever you go into a new system, if you warp into a new system or you portal into a new system using glyphs, you'll always be greeted with the space station multi-tool pool, which can be 2 to 5 different tools. So the default pool is always set to the space station pool, which is why when you look at instructions on multi-tool hunter finds, it will sometimes say no need to reload or don't reload. That's because as soon as you come through the portal, the space station pool is the pool that's already in the system. So if it says don't reload a save, all that means is that the tool is already in the cabinet, because it's part of the space station default pool. And if it isn't there, then you need to go to the space station, reload a save on the space station, and then come back down again. So I'm just going to quickly catch up with chat. How do the multi-tools in Sentinel pillars work? I don't know what you mean by that. They're all default to C class, so none of those tools can be found as an S class, but you can, if you find a royal tool at one of those Sentinel pillars, that will be the same for every single pillar in that system, but reloading on each planet will essentially change the colour of that tool. So that's all it does, is it just changes the colour of the royal tool. So the class will stay the same, similar to this, but the colour will change. But I don't like the royal multi-tools, so I haven't really bothered with those. I think they're quite common now, aren't they? Everyone's got one, and they look average to me. I've got an identical one a few times when looking at them. Yeah, that's because you're reloading on that planet and stuff. Johnny says, is it possible to get an S-Class MT on a Tier 1 system? No, it's not. It's impossible. You never ever go to a Tier 1 system for anything. The only S-Class anything that you can find in a Tier 1 system is a living ship or an exotic ship. There's one exotic ship which are default as S-Class in every single system in the game. So every single system in the game has one S-Class exotic ship, but you cannot find freighters, frigates or multitools or ships in Tier 1 economies as S-Class. 0% chance. Right, so we're going to check the class of this cabinet. This cabinet is a B class. So, as I mentioned in the first part of the video, in the first system, this cabinet, potentially, that means that this is this tool's native class, this B class here. However, it could be an A class which has spawned into this B cabinet, or this tool could be a native C class that has spawned up one into this B class cabinet. So this is just a guide. It's never something that is set in stone. This just gives you a guide as to what this current tool is. But because this isn't an A class, it doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. So what I'm going to show you now is what I do in every system if the space station cabinet is not an A class. Because I will still look for an A class cabinet and A class tool in every single system, regardless to what this is. So what I'll do now is, that's not an A class, so what do we do? How do we find what is the natural A class in this system? It's a Tier 2 economy, so how do we do it? Right, well, what I'm going to do is, we've got 5 planets, and I'm going to find the A class tool on every one of these planets. So what we need to do is, at the start of the video I showed you that we needed to convert nav data into these planetary charts. All of these are commercial. Now these charts, if you basically interact with each one of these charts, they will show different buildings. So look, I'm going to do one now, and that's going to show, just like it showed a minor settlement in my first chart. That's what I want, right? But what you need to do is now do it another 5 times. So 2, 3, 4, and the last one, 5. So right now, what's happened is I have now, you can't, there's no more buildings now. Oh, sorry, that was the 5th one there. So there's no more buildings now in this system that will show. So it doesn't matter, look, I'm clicking on interact, you can hear me on the controller. No more buildings will show in this system, because currently right now I've got the maximum amount of buildings that you can show using these charts, and they're always the same. Using these red charts here, it will always show a minor settlement, a trading post, a transmission tower, a colossal archive, potentially abandoned building, and sometimes you'll also see a drop pod. Sometimes they show drop pods, but what you'll see is at any one time only 6 of these buildings can show. So once you've got 6 uncovered, you're at the limit, and I'll explain what we do and why that's important. So as you can see, they've spawned, that the buildings are kind of random. They're kind of potentially scattered all around the system. What you'll find is most of them will be on one planet, but some might appear on other planets. Doesn't matter. All we're going to do is we're now going to go to this minor settlement here. So I've used all of my charts, I can't use any more. And this is how you start finding the A-class cabinet. So we're going to go straight to this settlement. Was that a multi-tool with a hole in it? I know you mentioned that earlier. Yeah, it did. It's just a standard multi-tool though, that one. Nothing special, that. So, we've landed here. And while we're here, I'm going to show you something and explain something as well. Right, so depending on like the depending on the life form, the system's life form, like Viking, Korvax, or Gek, these settlements will always be in slightly, like each life form has their own layout. So all Geks are like this, and then you've got Korvax, which are slightly different, and Viking, which are slightly different to that. Now, this here is the same tool that was on the space station, so this is probably going to be a B. No, it's moved down to a C. So that tool that was on the space station is potentially either a natural C class or a natural B class. Because remember, the space station cabinet, this was a B. Yeah? So this tool here is either a natural B or a natural C. Because a tool can spawn one class above or below its native class. And this is a C class cabinet, and this tool has spawned down one to a C. But it could have also, this tool here could be a C class, and it's just spawned up one to the B class cabinet that was on the station. So that tool there is potentially a C or a B. It's definitely not an A class tool. That one there is not an A class tool, so we need to remember that. Now, just while you're going through the settlements looking for tools, you can accumulate about 4,000 or 5,000 nanites and get quite a bit of stuff. So at every trade terminal, what you should be looking for, because remember, we need nav data, yeah? We need a constant supply of nav data. And rather than having a farm built of nav data, like on your freighter or somewhere where you can just farm it, you're much better off just building your nav data up as you're going through these settlements. So check every single trade post, and some trade posts will sell nav data, and it's dirt cheap. This one hasn't, but you just check that. You can also pick these up here, and if you go outside the building and you go around to these buildings here, this here will give you one nav data. Every single one of these gives you a nav data, and it will give you some nanites. So there's the nav data, and then if you're still trying to find stuff for your base parts, like so if you're still trying to collect salvage data for all your base parts and stuff, there's always one of these here at every minor settlement. As long as there's two buildings here, you'll always get salvage data from here, which is next to this. And if you interact with this is the long way of doing this, by the way. I'm showing you kind of what you can do as you're going through these settlements. You can get your either an S-class upgrade from here, or it will drop you nanites, and obviously you can sell the S-class for nanites. And on each one of these, normally it's the left one, but decided to be the right here, there's nanites here as well. Sometimes on here there's nav data, but not all the time. And now it's important to have a V3 Atlas pass. So I've got a V3 here, because a lot of the time here on each of these landing pads there'll be a barrel, and a lot of the time the barrel will give you nav data as well. now again, this is the long-winded way of doing things as you're going through, but if you interact with this NPC, where's he gone? Here he is. In every minor settlement there's an NPC, and if you interact with them and basically like potentially choose, if you potentially choose the right thing, I'm just going to guess here. I'll give them ferrite. Sometimes you get an option to be given a multi-tool, and sometimes that multi-tool will be an S-class, but that's completely random. Like if somebody else came here straight after you and interact with this guy, he might not give any multi-tool. It might be something completely different. So we can't control that. That's completely random. So anyway, so we've seen the tool in there. It's no good. Right, so if you remember, I used all of these maps to uncover 6 buildings, but we've just got to one of those buildings here. Right, we're currently at the settlement, so this is one of the buildings that we uncovered and brought up on our HUD. So now what that's done is because I've arrived here and I'm already at the location now, that building would have disappeared from my HUD, but it's still got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there's still now there's now 5 buildings showing and not 6. So what that means is we've got a spare one here, and as long as you keep these buildings here on your HUD, so you don't go to any of these locations, every single map that I use from this point onwards now will uncover a minor settlement. And there we go. Every single time I use a map now, it will guarantee a minor settlement. So you need to remember that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go off to the next one. And the quickest way to get there is fly just out of the atmosphere of the planet and then pulse straight there. This one's actually right on the other side of the planet, and we'll pulse straight there. Now on each planet there's probably up to about 2 to 250 minor settlements. Doesn't matter on the size. There's about 250, sometimes probably even more than that on each planet. But that's the reason why we avoid moons, because moons are about 50 to 70. Once you start getting towards 70, you're pretty much done on that moon. So we don't go to moons. We avoid moons at all costs. And there is another reason why we avoid moons. It's because more often than not, if there's a moon in the system, if one of these planets had a moon, when we're on the space station and we're using our maps, more often than not, kind of 9 times out of 10, all of the buildings that we need will appear on the moon. And actually, when you're trying to do things quickly and fast and trying to navigate around the moon by going out of the atmosphere and back down to the settlements, it's a real pain in the arse. It's just not good. So there's 2 reasons to avoid moons. First of all, much smaller amount of settlements available to look through, and second of all, it can be quite much more, even though it's a smaller body and smaller mass, it actually takes longer to look on a moon than it does on a planet. So we always avoid systems with moons. So look, we've got a barrel here, and we're going to quickly interact with that. Condensed carbon, but sometimes that will give nav data. We've got another one here, and that's antimatter. So there's 3 or 4 different things that they can give, but a lot of the time it will be nav data. I'm just going to quickly catch up with chat. Silent Robot, welcome to the stream. And next to broken machinery. Yeah, so not every minor settlement will have these 2 buildings, but most of them do. So not everyone will have these 2 buildings, but most do. And if you see a settlement with these 2 buildings, guaranteed there's always machinery with a buried technology, guaranteed every single time. So you can just always get nanites from that and pick up your base building stuff for that, or potentially just pick it up and sell it because they're worth quite a bit of money. So yeah, that's what we can do. Right, so we're going to go and check the cabinet. Same tool again, isn't it? So this time it's showing again as a C class. So we can just ignore that. But what we're going to do is check the terminal. There's no nav data in this terminal either. So on to the next one. We'll quickly grab that. Now I'm not going to bother basically collecting all the, as you can see, I've got enough nanites and money and stuff like that. So I'm not going to bother going round and doing this. But if you were kind of starting off in the game and you just wanted to build up some units, nanites, money, and you know, all the different things that you want to collect in this game, like your antimatter housing for doing your warp cells and stuff like that, get yourself a V3 Atlas pass and just literally check everything. This here, this save point, this guarantees 1 nav data and 10 nanites every time you interact with it for the first time. And what you can do is, some multi-tool hunters, they like keeping in check of how many settlements they've been to. And if you've been to this settlement before, like if we fly off now, and sometimes the maps will send you back, very rarely, but sometimes they'll send you back to a settlement you've already been to. It will show here with a name, but if you haven't been there, it will say unknown until you save it. And multi-tool hunters, they keep a track of how many they've been to. So because we're not going to any other save points on each planet, and we're only going to be interacting with these things here at each settlement, as you can see here on the Discoveries tab, we can keep track of how many settlements we've been to and how many settlements each S-class cabinet takes to find. So we know we've been to 2, and it says 2 there. Funny that. So yeah, that's kind of why we interact with these. I don't do that anymore because I try and do it as quickly as possible. But again, you've got your stuff there, and you can, as you're going along and doing this, you can build up a nice collection of items and nanites and stuff like that. On average, about 4,000 or 5,000 nanites a search. Right, so I'm now going to do this again and uncover the next minor settlement. So I'm going to quickly fly up, have a little look around, see where it's spawned. And there it is there. So again, once we've seen it, we go up to the atmosphere and we go straight over and straight across. We don't want to fly along in the planet, it will take you forever. So we go just up to this, as soon as you get that sort of like funny sort of stutter, like it happens on every console and PC when you leave the atmosphere. As soon as you get that, just flatten off and then pulse straight to the minor settlement. And again, this is number 3. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find an A-class cabinet. I'm not interested at the moment as an S. If we get an S, it will be a bonus. Right, so this is a different tool. So what is this going to be? It's another C-class. So this tool here is so far one of 2 different types of tools in the space station pool. And this is potentially a natural C-class or a natural B-class, the same as the one that we've been seeing before. So this has got 2 C-class or B-class tools in its system, and I know for a fact, because there's an A-class in every single planet, I know for a fact that there's going to be one more tool. So this space station pool has at least 3 tools in its pool, because we haven't seen an A-class yet, but we've seen 2 other different types of tools. So we're going to carry on going. Again, we're just going to check for nav data here, and there isn't any. In tier 2 systems, you'll get about up to 80 or 90 nav data. And in tier 3 systems, you'll get up to 185. So it's always worth checking for that, because that's a hell of a lot of maps. And again, once again, I'm not going to do this from here onwards, but I'm just going to, for the purpose of showing you the mechanics, we haven't been to this minor settlement. As you can see, it says unknown sector, and as soon as we save, we get the cinematic, which you can't skip, unfortunately. And now if we go to discoveries, we're on number 3. So we've done the 3rd minor settlement on our search. So I'm not going to bother doing that, and I'm not going to bother getting the nanites, and I'm not going to bother interacting with the NPC, and I'm not going to bother doing the barrels. All I'm going to do is check the terminals to get my nav data, check the tool, and then basically bugger off to the next settlement. So once again, let's go to the next one. And as you can see, every single time, because I'm leaving the other 5 buildings undiscovered, like I'm not going to those locations, these other 5 buildings are always going to remain on the HUD. Yeah? But because I'm going to the settlement every time, this will disappear. As soon as I get there, that will disappear, which then frees up one more building. But these here, doesn't matter what other buildings display, these ones here will guarantee a minor settlement in every single system and planet that you go to, every single time, without fail. So, up we go again, to the top of the atmosphere, off we go, and pulse to the next settlement. So I'm going to try and just speed this up a bit, and we can get kind of 10 to 15 done here relatively quickly. And sometimes, you know, the first settlement that I go to will be an A class or an S class, and it's great. You know, makes your life a lot easier. Sometimes it can take 15 to 20 settlements before you see an A class appear. If we see an S class, it's a bonus, but all I care about right now is trying to find an A class tool. And look, this is potentially going to be the C class again. Quickly check here. No nav data, off I go. I'm not going to bother with anything else. Get in here, do my settlement, and up I go. Quickly see where it's spawned. Over there, straight up. Level it off and pulse straight there. And we're going to get a few of these done relatively quickly now. Silent robot, in fact it's broken machinery primarily, yeah. And hey, yeah, hi, Rice is here. Welcome to the stream, Ricey. This is really interesting. Well, I'm glad at least somebody is finding it interesting, because I reckon it'll bore a lot of people to death, this. But I've never done this before. I've never shown someone my process and what I do. And you'll sort of start to see why I'm doing it all as we get further into it. So again, I'm just going to quickly check here. This is going to be a C or a B, and it's the C. So I'll quickly do the next settlement. Doesn't matter where you pop this. You can pop that map anywhere you want. Inside the settlement, outside, doesn't make any difference. If you want it to do it quickly, do it in your starship, because it won't do the cinematic. And again, we've got no nav data there, so we just carry on going. I only need to find one terminal with nav data, because once you've picked up the nav data from the terminal, you won't be able to get any more nav data for quite some time. It's the same as nanites. Once you pick up nanites from like the space station, or you know, anywhere, they will sort of stay disappeared for a few hours and then they respawn again. And it's the same with nav data in those terminals. Once you pick up from one terminal in this system, all the terminals will sort of be empty. So again, yeah, back down to the next settlement. This is about number 5 or 6. I'm not keeping track anymore. So yeah, going to land here. And we've got a B. So this is actually a different tool. So this is potentially the third tool. Now this potentially could be it looks similar to one of the tools that was in this cabinet before, which was C, but this actually potentially could be the A class tool, and I'm only going to find that out by continuing. So let's just carry on. Right, so here we are, we've got nav data. So this is a bit poor, this one, it's only given me 62. So what I'll do is I'll just go back one, so we buy the whole lot. It's only 70,000 units, and save. So now, if I go to the next settlement, and again it's got nav data for sale, it will stay greyed out like this for a good couple of hours now. Because once you've bought some, it will disappear. So once you've found the terminal which sells it, don't bother finding anymore because there's no point. So that's another little part of the process we can instantly cut out now. And if you're getting your shit and you do the chart, it won't do the cinematic, so you can just speed things up a bit. So we'll have a look round, see where this settlement has spawned, and it's over there. So once again, up to the atmosphere till it glitches a bit like that, and then level off and pulse straight there. And you know, in between all of this, if you want to go on a hunt yourself, this is how you do it, and you know, you can do it. Any of you people that are watching this or watch this back, this is how you hunt for multi-tools. So in between, if you like exploring and you like building and stuff like that, and you're on a nice planet, you can do what you want in between, and you know, you can keep all these buildings still on your HUD and stuff, and just do it at your own pace and do what you want. You haven't got to change what you want to do on any particular planet. I just don't do much of that anymore, and I just stick to doing the hunt. See that this is a different tool. Looks the same, but it's different to the last one. So straight out, straight to the ship. There's another one done. And I'm going to keep going until we find the A class. So there it is, it's just spawned over here. Sometimes they're you can get them right close to one of these settlements, so it like literally takes like a second to get there. So yeah, this is about number 6 or 7. Normally it can take up to about 15 just to find the A class, but you can also sort of forget this method and just stick to the space stations and just basically hop to each space station in different systems and just hope that you see an A class. But again, that can take kind of 10 to 15 different warps before you even find an A class. So my method overall is a lot quicker, I think. This is another C class, so we're not going to bother with that. Again, just keep tapping it until the minor settlement pops. And look, this one's an example of it being really close, so I can just fly straight here. So when you see them kind of 7 or 8 seconds away, you haven't got to go up to the atmosphere and stuff. So quickly go in and have a look at this one. Yeah, that's the C class. And where's the next one? There it is. Again, just always go out and just pulse there, because otherwise you'll spend like 20 minutes trying to get to each one. Whereas this way you do it in like 15 seconds. So it's nice and quick. But already, you know, this is kind of taking 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes already. So you'll start to see why this is not for the faint-hearted. Like, if you're somebody that doesn't like process and doesn't like doing the same thing over and over again, they call it dead gaming, then this is not going to be for you. Just going to quickly refill this. Right, on to the next one. See how there's generally always a salvage data, a nav data, and nanites in all of these settlements. So let's go to the next one. It will appear, it will just take a bit of time. The S-Class could take hours. Could take 10 minutes, but it could take hours. But at this point in time, I'm not interested in the S-Class. All I want to know at this point is what A-Class tools are in this system. And if there's any decent A-Class tools, which there most likely won't be, because that's just the way it is in this game. But if there is, then I will start the hunt for the S-Class. And it doesn't really differ to what I'm doing now at all. Right, so this is the tool that I think, this tool here, I think this tool is potentially the system's A-Class tool. And although we're seeing it appear quite a bit at the moment as a B-Class, I actually think that this is potentially the A-Class tool. But I'm not going to just assume that. I want to make sure that this is the A-Class tool before I start deciding what to do. So I'm going to continue looking through settlements. I've been doing this long enough to get a feel for kind of what's what. I can't really explain it, but especially because this is a tier 2 economy. We've seen kind of nearly 10 settlements now, and a lot of the time by now we would have seen most of the different types of tools. So unless there's like a bit of a curveball in this system and we still haven't seen the final tool, because there's only going to be one other tool now, if there is one. I think that one there is potentially the A-Class. So we'll if I see that tool spawn as an A-Class, then I'm gonna take it that is the natural A-Class at this point. Oh right, so oh no, I think this is a C-Class. No, right, okay, so this is definitely 100% the A-Class tool in this system. And the reason I know that is because we've seen 2 Cs, which potentially are C and B. we've seen the B class tool, which spawns on the space station as a B class, and we know that most of the time that B class is the native tool. Not always, but most of the time it is. And we've seen that tool spawn 3 times in a row now as B class. We haven't yet seen this tool spawn at all. So this was the curveball. And now this tool has spawned, and it's instantly in a tier 2 economy. The first time it's spawned is an A class. I will lay my house on it that this is the A class tool. So what I'm going to do is, before I do anything, this is the space station's A class tool, but I'm currently on a planet, so I'm going to reload a save, because that there is the space station's A class, not this planet's, and I'm going to reload a save now. So this system's got 4 different multi-tools. Sorry, this planet has got 4 different multi-tools. Right, so this planet's A class is this tool. So this is the A class tool for this planet. So what I'm going to do now is I want to know what these planets' A class tools are as well. So I'm going to plonk a save beacon, and I'm going to make it pink, and I'm just going to plonk it here. As you can see on my HUD now, there's a star. See the star there as I'm looking at it? That's the marker. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a manual save there. And now I'm going to go up to each planet, and guess what? Reload a save. So we'll go to the ones furthest away to get them out of the way. So we'll start with this one. We've got one there, a ring planet, one over there. So what I'll do is I'll go to this one, then I'll do the ringed one, and then I'll start moving off to the right. And we've only got 4 planets, I think, to look at. So that was the sort of like part of the grindy bit done. We've got the A class now, and now we can just have a look at the rest of the system and see what we get. And you'll start up, like, I really hope that a lot of people they don't really sort of know and understand how much time actually goes into finding just one S-class tool. People get very lucky and can find one just randomly in the wild, and you know, I've had it loads, pretty much everyone has, but to find a good tool, it's a very, very, very long-winded process. And I, as well as kind of showing you guys what to do and how to find them, I kind of also hope that you look at this and think, actually, fucking hell, this is quite a long process, and these guys put in a lot of effort and time to the community, and we do. You know, we do it for our own enjoyment, but we do it so that you guys don't have to do it. If I didn't enjoy doing it as much as I do, I wouldn't do it. And that's a big deal. You've got to enjoy doing it, otherwise it's just, there's no point in starting it because it's such a long-winded process. But yeah, it is very, yeah, Johnny's put, it amazes me on how you and other MT ship hunters found all this info out. Definitely interesting and time consuming. Thanks. No, any time, it's much appreciated. I've not done a video on kind of the full process, especially a live one before, and yeah, I'm hoping that it educates you all and shows you what to do, what not to do, but also shows you what we do. And this is what not just me, but every other Scotty, Tim on Reddit, Lava Lamp, especially Lava Lamp, this is what we do. this is how long it takes to find a tool, and you know, I've been streaming for probably an hour now, and I haven't even found a tool that I want to find yet. So it's not just finding the S-class cabinet. It's actually finding the tool is part of the graft. Again, a crappy. I mean, some people like these up. 2 horns at the front. Some people might go on a hunt for that. Not me, but some people might. They're not rare. They're not common though. They're kind of uncommon, these tools. But again, look, A-class, and I call them pigs. They look like pigs at the front. Yeah, not for me. So we'll leave that one. And our marker's still there, so we're going to shoot up. I'm just going to go to this one here, because what I'm going to start doing is moving off to the right and doing the planets over there. There might be one this side, behind this planet, but I'm going to go to this one. Doesn't matter now. If I land at this building, I'm not going to, but if you land there, it doesn't make a difference, because I found the A-class cabinet, and that was my aim with this system, just to get that done. So I'm going to land anywhere and do another reload. And like I said, we're only interested in A-class tools, so we haven't got to find all of the tools in this system and try and spawn all the tools into all the different cabinets and do all that malarkey. I'm only interested in looking at either 4, 5 or 6 different tools. All of them must be A-class, because just to refresh, only A-class tools, natural native A-class tools, they're the only tools that can be found in an S-class cabinet. If the rule is, if you see a C-class tool, just instantly forget about it. You're never going to be able to get that in S-class unless you upgrade it. And another reason why we do this is because not everyone can be bothered to grind 85,000 nanites to upgrade a tool from C-class to S, right? So if we can find the S-class for free, game on, right? We haven't got to bother with all the nanites and doing the grafting, because you could spend 2 hours trying to graft 85,000 nanites. Well, there's no point in spending that much time grafting to get the nanites when I can just go and find the S-class cabinet in sometimes a lot less time. So if it's free, it's me. What I'm all about. Right, so that was planet number 3. So we've got 2 more? Yeah, 2 more to do. And might be a waste of time, this. Might not be anything in this system, but then if it is, we're on to the next one. So again, just a standard rifle, A-class. Instantly forget that. Up to the next planet. So I'm always coming back down to that marker I placed, yeah? So if you're wondering how I'm always going back to that A-class cabinet, it's because we marked the settlement with a save beacon. Save beacons are permanent unless you move them. You can have, I think it's 3, maybe 4 on each planet. Yeah, so this is planet number 4. This is my ship. I love this ship. It's a really nice one, this. I found this ages ago. I do like white. I'm a red and black or a white person, me. Right, so once again, don't care about anything on this planet, reload, and then we'll instantly leave. If it's a really, really nice planet, by the way, like if it's if it's like a really nice exotic looking planet, I'll put a base computer down, and what I'll do is any really nice ones that I see, I'll just make a little note of them, like with a base computer, and put in like, you know, like if this was like a white grass, you know, blue seas, perfect tropical planet, I'll just put like white grass and blue sea in Euclid, and just keep a record. If I want to go and base build and stuff, then yeah, you know, not everything goes to waste when you're tool hunting, and by playing the numbers game in No Man's Sky and seeing the amount of systems and planets that I see, and all of us hunters see, we see a lot more than the average player as well. So yeah, there's upsides and downsides to doing what we do. Johnny's put, what made you want to multi-tool hunt? Because I did ship hunting for a good couple of years. So I've been playing the game on and off since 2016, and I've been ship hunting for a lot of that time. But I sort of put the towel. I was getting a bit bored of it, to be honest, ship hunting, and a lot of the ships have been found, I think, these days anyway. So I just wanted a bit of a. I still enjoy playing the game, but I didn't want to do building anymore, and you know, what should I do, sort of thing. And I about 2 years ago decided to look at multi-tools and got into the nitty gritty of it, and spoke to a few of the legends like Lava Lamp. He's the king of it. Certainly the most experienced. He's probably found 1,000 or more S-class tools. Oh, probably more than that, I don't know. He doesn't post anymore, by the way. He like me, I've got a troll currently going to my finds, and unfortunately he had the same thing, so he doesn't post anymore. But again, look, we've got a pistol here, absolutely waste of space, rubbish. We'll move straight on to the next planet. But yeah, I just wanted something different, and the great thing about multi-tool hunting is finding stuff like this. This is totally unique, like absolutely unique. I will guarantee no other person has found this tool on Reddit with the same name, the same colours, the same configuration and everything. So with multi-tool hunting, you're doing something that's not just very niche. Very few people do it because of the grind. It's almost like hunting for an S-class freighter every time. But when you actually find something like this in S-class, it is a really good feeling, and it is unique. Like, because not a lot of people multi-tool hunt, there's a lot less variety of tools that have been discovered on Reddit. There's thousands and thousands that still need to be found, of different colours, different models, different varieties and stuff like that. Whereas ships, like, I guarantee my ship here that I found, someone else has found this. And ships, you know, really rare, but most of the ships that you want have probably been found, right? Because it's such a big part of the community. Like, essentially every single person ship hunts, because you're always looking at ships in every system that you go to, right? In the space stations, and so even if you're not a ship hunter, you're still looking at all the different ships. Whereas multi-tools, most people will just look at the space station tool. That's it. And it's kind of less than 1% of the No Man's Sky entire community. Probably not even 0.5% of people actually actively hunt tools. So the amount of good tools there are really low, like in terms of numbers relative to everything else. And I like that. I liked that it's still really niche, really unique, and you're part of a really small community of people that do it. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I do it, but the main reason is I just like tools. I like the look of them. I like the fact that they're all unique. Like, hardly any tools are the same. only experimentals, but most aliens and stuff are very, very unique. And you know, once you've found it and you've uploaded the system and stuff, it's your claim, right? It's your find. So yeah, it's I enjoy it. I don't enjoy. I've got to be honest. I don't enjoy this part of it, like the repetitive, sort of grindy process. It is really boring. Like, there's no denying it. You can make it a bit more interesting by building along the way and, you know, doing whatever you want to do. But it isn't great. But I play music, so I love listening to house music, drum and bass, liquid drum and bass, and I like my music, so I've always got music on. Like, if I'm not streaming and I'm playing this game, I'll be playing with music on and just chilling out. That's what I do. I just chill out and just kill some time in it. Don't play it every day, but if I had it my way, I probably would. So we're going to reload here. Last planet. Flying Brian, welcome to the stream. Hope all's good. So yeah, this is the last reloads, and then back to the cabinet, and then that system is done. This is a system done with potentially nothing there. Paul Burgett just subscribed. Cheers, Paul. Great stuff. More support, the better. I love the way the community at the moment is going out of their way to go to my recent finds as well and report this troll that's blocking off all the entrances to my my finds. He's done about 8 or 9 now so far. He's actually been getting verbally abusive with me as well on Facebook. He found me on Facebook and was sending me some nasty messages. And I don't know what this guy's problem is, but he's got a real bee in his bonnet with me. So I'm glad that the community are trying to deal with it, and Hello Games and stuff. So the more people we've got that can kind of pile in and get this guy perma-banned, the better. And I'm not going to stop videos and streaming because of this troll. As Beeble said to me, if I stop streaming and stop uploading videos, he wins. So F him. Right, so again, another crappy lot. These are like flies, like bees, these things. They're ugly things, these are. So look, we've found the A class. Unfortunately, it was a system that didn't spawn anything decent. So I'm going to upload all of my stuff. This is my discoveries here. And I'm now going to go to the next system. So I'm going to pick my marker up. And off to the next system we go. So this time I'm going to stick to a tier 3. And just see what we... So in tier 3s, they will typically have more A-class space station cabinets appearing than tier 2. Doesn't have any effect on how quickly you'll find an S-class tool, but the space station might spawn an A-class. So this is a tier 3, and it's affluent. Tier 3 looks like it's got at least 5 planets and no moons. Remember I said we don't want moons, so we're going here. No need for drama from someone who's toxic. Well, he's been putting bases down. I'm not going to name the guy, but he's basically been he's a Fortnite YouTuber. So he's from the toxic Fortnite community, and he's, for some reason, he's got a problem with me, and he's been going to a lot of my recent, like, popular upvoted finds on Reddit, like ones with a couple of hundred or whatever upvotes on Reddit, or from the Facebook groups, and he's basically somehow overriding my bass, because I've got no bass edits on. So you'll see in my settings I have everything switched off. I've got multiplayer on at the moment. I'm going to turn that off actually, but I have everything switched off, so no one can edit. Oh no, this one I've got on. So no one can edit any of my basses, like on any of my saves. These are all set to kind of no one or just friends. But somehow he's managing to override my bass, build a bass in the settlement, and block off all the entrances. So what people are doing is they're going to my settlement and they can't get in. Now the only way that you can get in is once you're at the base. If you see it sort of blocked off in front of you and you can't get in, go down to this menu here at the bottom, and just to the right of this camera is a report base option if you're near any base computers. And if you go to any of my finds and you see this guy has blocked them off, or anyone that's blocked them off, go all the way to the right, and if there's a base there, there'll be another option on the right of this camera here to report the base. And then if you report it, it asks you to take a screenshot of what the issue is. So just make sure it's nice and clear. You've got a good screenshot of the problem, like the wall that he's put up, and then upload it. And what will happen is that base will then disappear. So as soon as you report it, just for you and for you only, it removes the base, so you can then go in and grab the tool. But he's been to, so let me just see what tools I've got. I think he's blocked this one off. So this is one of the tools that you'll see posted on Reddit and Facebook. So I think he's blocked that one. I haven't checked yet this one of mine, the plasma tuber with horns. So this was probably one of my best pistol finds. So I haven't checked this yet, but he may have blocked this one because it was quite a popular one. And that's all that I know of. I've got my I don't think he's blocked my white tool here. I think this one is still fine, and the one that I use at the moment, this one on this save, this one here is still fine, I think. But yeah, he's done about 8 or 9 so far. So we're going to check here, and it's a B class. Potentially it could be an A class tool, but this is a B class cabinet. So again, it might be a case that this is the B class tool. But I'm going to do the same process again, and I'm going to find this A class tool, and I'm going to show it. It may appear a lot quicker because it's a tier 3 economy. Hi Fusion, welcome to the chat. Flying Brian, hello Fusion, yep, hi. You can get through bases with pets, I think. I did try like everything the first time round, and I couldn't get through. It didn't matter what I did, I just couldn't get into the base. It was really annoying. Johnny says, copy, I'll do my best to help. Yes, please do, yeah. I mean, don't go out of your way, but if you do go to any of my finds, then yeah, if you run into that, then that's kind of how you deal with it. Right, so once again, so that's a B class, but I'm still going to find the A class tool. So yet again, we've got some nav data here that we've collected. Fine, just move all this. Move that to there. Right, so we're going to use 6 maps now, which is the maximum we can use. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's my 6 buildings now. I will not be able to unlock any more. So look, I'm tapping on the thing. Doesn't matter how many times or what ones you tap. Maximum of 6 every single time. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the settlement. So there it is. Right, hopefully the A class should appear a bit quicker here. So we'll see. But like I said, some people just use the space station method and just try and hop to each and every space station in every system and just try and look for A-class tools and then reload all the tools into that space station cabinet. But I actually think that although it seems a bit longer doing it this way, this is probably the quicker way to do it, in my opinion. I know Lava Lamp would probably disagree with me there. Right, so this is a bit of a nightmare. This one, this is blocked up. Sometimes you get this, but you can just do this and get around. Where's the cabinet? Right, here's the cabinet. Right, so this is actually quite a cool tool. This, believe it or not, it's not my colours, but these tools here. If this was in a better colour, I might have conducted a search for this as S-class, because these crystals, 6 crystals here, sometimes they appear as this height and sometimes they're a tad longer, like up here. Each one is kind of a bit taller, but these crystals are definitely rare on these. This is a rare tool. It's not a common, it's not an uncommon, it's a rare tool, this one. Even though it's a standard pistol, all pistols come with a maximum of 10 slots. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, sorry, this is a mid-rifle. So this, if this was an S-class, this would have a maximum of 16 slots, but you can obviously upgrade that to 24. But yeah, these crystals on the top here are quite rare. I don't like this colour. I like the crystals, but I don't like the colour of the tool. So even if this was an A-class, I wouldn't search for this. Some people might, but I wouldn't personally search for this tool, even though it's rare. But anyway, this is a C-class, so we've seen a B-class and we've seen a C-class so far, so we must remember that. And yeah, again, going to get in the ship and find the next settlement. So wait for that to spawn, and there it is over there. So again, leaving the buildings, all the other buildings, the other 5 buildings, just ignore them. We're not going to be going to them. And as long as you don't go to those buildings and just go to the settlements, these maps every time will highlight a new settlement. So this is going to be number 2. And for any new people that have just joined the stream, it's worth, once the stream finishes, just going back and sort of skimming through, because there's potentially going to be some information that I've missed, that you've missed, that would be quite helpful and useful for looking for new multi-tools. So again, this is a C class, so this is either going to be a C or a B, and it's a C class. So because it's appeared twice now as a C class in a row, I can safely assume that this is most likely the natural C class of this system, because the B class is on the space station, and that's more than likely the natural B class. Not always, but it's more than likely the B class. So there's at least one other tool in this system. I'm just going to check for nav data. No, there's none there. Fusion says what that person's doing isn't the worst block you can do. Portal blocks are much worse. Yeah. Any sort of trolling like that, there's just absolutely no need for it whatsoever. in a game like this that's, you know, been good for a number of years now, with a decent community, you know, decent player base. The sad thing is because there's been a significant increase in the amount of griefers and trolls in this game over the last probably 6 months now. A lot of the older veteran players, even some streamers, have taken a bit of a back seat from this game now, and that's a real shame. Yeah, it's a shame that people can do that in a game, you know. It's not nice. So again, this is probably going to be a C. Yeah, this is a natural C class, this tool. Absolutely impossible to find that as an S class in the wild. Yeah, there's no possible way to find that. But you could buy it and upgrade it and do what you want with it, really. So I'm just checking for nav data. I've got enough. I think I've even got some on my freighter. Yeah, I'm not going to bother checking for any because I've got plenty. You can avoid it by turning off white. Yeah, but it's just a pain doing that every time. Especially because I play on PC, so I might have other stuff going on in the background that needs internet as well. So that, I mean, you shouldn't have to do that. It's just it's one of those things, you know. You've got to lump it or do that, really. I play on PC, by the way, but I actually prefer using a controller for this game. The only thing that I miss potentially is doing what do you call it, like binding the keys. But because I do this, I don't really need to worry about all that. Again, this is probably a C class, could be a B, but yeah. So 4 times now that's shown as a C class. So that's definitely the C class tool on this planet. Sorry, that's part of the space station. Now, the only encouraging thing is and this isn't necessarily a thing, it's not necessarily like a mechanic or a rule in this game. This is just purely based on my experience. That tool that's currently showing in there is relatively rare, like it's got crystals. Now, if you see that, it does seem to increase the chances of another rare or exotic tool spawning in the system. And in actual fact, if you see any class of a experimental, like a C, B or A, or alien tool in that system, particularly if you see a pistol in an alien or experimental appear in that system, there is quite a good chance that there's also going to be a rifle in an alien or experimental. Now, I'm not saying that that's a rule and that's a mechanic or that is a definitive thing in this game, but certainly talking to other tool hunters, and in my experience, it doesn't dictate that there's another one in the system, but it does definitely, as far as I'm concerned, it definitely increases the chances of you seeing another exotic. So I'm optimistic that because we've got this sort of standard but rare pistol in this system, that we might see another rare type of tool appear. But again, this will be a C. This is the natural C class tool. We might see this appear as a B, but that will be just because it's jumping up one from its native class. Because if you remember, a tool can only go up one or down one. Up one class to a B class cabinet, or down one class, but it can't go down, so it will either be a C or a B. And an A class tool can either go down to a B class cabinet or appear potentially in some S class cabinets if it's an A class tool. And I know that's repeating myself, but I do need to sort of just repeat a couple of times in this stream because people might wonder what I'm doing. Where's this ship? Right, on to the next one. Again, up to the atmosphere, unless it's really close. No, that's miles away, so we'll go up to the atmosphere, wait for the little glitch, there we go, level off and pulse. They should add a turn off unknown player bases option. Yeah, the only trouble is, with like I've emailed, I've obviously emailed Hello Games about this and Zendesk as well. I've tried calling them today as well about it, but didn't get through. The only problem is, it doesn't matter what anyone does. If someone's playing on PC, there'll be mods to get around anything. That's the issue that Hello Games has got. Console players, a bit different. But for PC players, whatever block or restriction they put into the game to prevent stuff like this from happening, it won't stop it because someone will mod it. And that's, see, it's just jumped to a B there. This is a natural C class tool, but it's now just jumped, occasionally it will jump up or down one, and this is an example of it jumping up to a B class. But this is a C class tool. So we still haven't seen the A class yet. We will find it, it won't take long. And hopefully we might see an alien or a experimental. My hit rate with this is normally about probably 1 in every 5 or 6 systems. I'll tend to come across like a tool potentially worth looking for. I won't always go for every alien and experimental that I find. It's just personal preference with me, really. But yeah, kind of every 5 or 6 systems doing it this way, I will stumble across a decent tool. And this is my, what are we, 2nd or 3rd system here? 3rd, I think. So hopefully in the next, either this one or in the next 2 or 3 systems, I'll get a tool worth looking for. And then what I might do is, because it could go on for quite a few hours, perhaps I'll do another live stream this week of actually finding the S-Class. So this one can be trying to find the tool. This is the Space Station B-Class tool. So this is probably the natural B-Class tool. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll probably in this stream find a tool worth searching for, and then in the next stream I'll actually find the S-Class of that tool. Right, so where's that settlement? There she is. It's a bit close to this one. This is kind of, this is not a bad planet, this one actually. It's got nice seas, nice beaches. It's a bit foggy. It's very islandy, there's a lot of islands, isn't there? Right, so let's have a look. Right, this is a different tool. Right, so without looking at this, I think this is either going to be a B class, but I think this is the A class tool. So let's have a look. There we go. This is the A class. So now I could basically just double down on this and reconfirm and maybe go through and look for another few settlements just to confirm that this does continually spawn as an A class. But I'm experienced and I'm quite confident that we've seen 3 other tools so far, and this is the first time we've seen this tool but as an A class as well. And just typically, because the space station is a B class, this is most likely and more than likely the natural A class tool on the space station. So this is a space station tool, because I haven't reloaded a save yet, and this is probably the native A class. So again, because I'm on this planet, I'm going to reload a save here and see what this planet's tool is. And then I'm going to plonk a beacon down and go and see what else we've got. So this is a different tool. Now this is interesting. Now that is a glitch. That should not happen. So remember I said the space station cabinet never ever changes class because they're fixed. This is a prime example here of this space station cabinet now glitching and becoming a B class. And there is a theory as to why this happens, and the theory is I think after the Beyond update a couple of years back, the cloud system, the cloud save system, sometimes it glitches and it actually pulls the PlayStations. Even though I'm playing on PC, it pulls the PlayStation save through to your file from their end, from the servers. And sometimes you get this happen where we clearly saw this was an A class cabinet and it's actually glitched and become a B. But now what I'm going to do, just to see if we can correct that, is put a marker down there, and I'm just going to manual save that, and I'm just going to reload the manual save now and just see if anything changes here. Right, it stayed the same. So let me just do an auto save. This situation here is extremely rare. It very, 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 very rarely happens. Like, it's probably happens. It probably about 5 times, 6 times in all of my time hunting. So this is a really rare glitch, this. Right, so it's staying as B. Now just what I'm going to need to do, just very, very quickly, is I'm going to reload this manual save one more time. And then I'm going to fly to the space station and reload on the space station and then come back down and see what it is. If it doesn't sort itself out, I'm going to need to find this planet's A-class tool. That tool there is probably the A-class tool of this planet, but this is an extremely rare glitch See what's happened. Now this is going to be an A class. Yeah. So that actually took 2 or 3 different auto and manual saves. Normally, the manual save reload fixes it, not the auto save. But that is actually a glitch in the game. The mechanic is these cabinets cannot change class. They are fixed locations. And actually, when that happens, and it's incredibly rare, and you've just seen it on a live stream, that's proof that these sometimes can change. And as I said, there's no definitive reason yet out there as to why this does it sometimes. But the theory is linked to the cloud and the servers at HG, and an update many years ago messed up with the PlayStation saves relative to all the other platforms like Xbox and PC, and sometimes it confuses itself and pulls through the PlayStation save to your file regardless to what platform you're on. Really weird. That is quite a good theory though from a lot of people, but as you've seen, the way to correct that and make sure that you get the right cabinet is to reload the manual save. You might have to do it more than once, and if not, go to the space station, reload and come back down. But this is the tool that we should be seeing, not the other one. That other tool is a B class tool, not an A class. So anyway, that's a little bit of useless information there, but it's interesting that that has happened on a live stream. I'm actually going to show Zane that and see what he makes of that, because that is incredibly rare, believe it or not. It doesn't happen that often. Right, so that's decided to glitch into the floor there for some reason. So I'm going to just manually save that. Keep it as a white marker, that's fine. I don't need to change the colour. But right, what I'm going to do now is go to each planet and reload a save on each planet. And I hope that one of these might pull through an exotic tool, because there was a rare tool in that space station pool there. So yeah, I'm hoping that one of these planets might produce something for us. We'll see. How many have we got? 1, 2, we've got 6 planet system this. Yeah, it'd be good to show Lava Lamp and Zane from Zane's World. I'm going to get him to have a look at that. So I'm just going to make a note of where that was in the stream, because I want him to come to this system and play around with it and see if he can do some of his famous data mining and stuff. Right, yeah, so we just land anywhere. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we'll reload here. Not interested in the ships or anything. But again, you guys might be. So if you actually are crazy enough to do this, and go out and look for your own S-Class tool now, or I'll show you how to do that in the next stream. But yeah, if you want to go and do that, in between all of this, like going from planet to the settlement and planet to settlement and stuff like that, you can do what you want. You can start building a base here if you want, and just make sure that you remember to reload here and go back to that A-Class cabinet. So typically, if you get that glitch, which is very, very rare, I must stress that, doesn't happen a lot. If you do get that glitch, on your hunt and you're like, whoa, what just happened there? It will only be normally on that planet. So all of these other planets now should still spawn an A-class tool. It shouldn't sort of glitch and cause an issue now. I say that, we'll get here now, and it'll be a B-class, you watch. But it doesn't normally work like that. So yeah, as you can see, I've put that save beacon down. Again, very, very, very rarely, sometimes that beacon will disappear, and obviously if it does, you're screwed. So sometimes it is worth just sort of making a note of the coordinates for that settlement, but to be completely honest with you, if that did disappear, I'll just bugger off and go to a different system and do a new search. I wouldn't bother kind of looking for more. Right, yeah, so let's see what we've got here. Should be an A-class. It's a rifle, but just a pretty standard rifle. Yeah, not my cup of tea. I don't like this sort of greeny brown colour. But again, you could find this in an S-class, because this is an A-class tool. A24, and comes with a X module as well. Right, on to the next one. Just been to that planet. So where's the other 5 planets? They must all be tucked behind this one. Probably all hiding around here. Yeah, there we are. Right, let's go to that one right out in the distance first, get that out of the way with. And there's the other 3 there. So they're all just behind the planet that I'm on. It would be great to find a really nice tool to finish off this stream, and then like I said, it's a very similar process to like basically just doing what I've been doing, trying to find the A-class cabinet. We just essentially continue that, but instead of looking for A-class cabinets now, we're going to be looking for the S-class. Once I find the tool that we want, we forget A-class cabinets and we just want to go for S-class. Each planet can spawn an S-class cabinet, so you can actually get multiple S-class cabinets in each system. Normally it's only 1 per planet from my experience, but there's actually no point whatsoever in finding more than 1 S-class cabinet, because regardless to how many S-class cabinets are in the system and how many you find, the same tools will spawn into every one of them. So you only need to find 1 S-class cabinet, because if you found the S-class on this planet, the same tools will spawn into that as they would on all the other planets in the system, because the same tool spawns into each cabinet, into each cabinet's class. You can't change that. Does that make sense? So essentially, if you find an S-class cabinet, right, and let's just say on one planet there was 2 tools on that planet that you really liked, only one of those tools, if just say they're both, it can happen, you can get 2 A-class tools, only one of that planet's tools will be the tool that can spawn in the S-class cabinet. So if the tool that you don't want doesn't spawn into the S-class cabinet, so if the tool that you don't want hasn't spawned in the S-class cabinet, you cannot get that tool as an S-class. You can only upgrade it. You can only buy it as it comes and upgrade it to an S-class. There's no possible way of changing a planet's tool other than the default tool which will spawn into each cabinet. You can't do it. They're all fixed. But look, I know I've been waffling and this has been already a couple of hours stream, but as you can see, I would have probably have cut a quarter of this time off if it was just me listening to my music and just getting on with my thing. But as you can see, we've only done 3 systems so far, nearly finished the third, and we're basically 2 hours into this stream, and I haven't even found an exotic yet, let alone an S-Class. So again, that's how long it takes to find a decent tool. Very, very, very long-winded. So yeah, please show us some love on Reddit when we post these S-Class tools. Yeah, show a bit of love and give it a nice upvote, or give it a like on Facebook. Right, so let's have a look and see what we got here. No, crappy pistol. And there we go. Right, that has changed yet again to a B. That is incredibly rare. That is a really, really, really rare glitch. Yeah, I've got to show Zane this one. It's going to drive him insane. This. Right, I might have to forget this system because I'm not going to go and reload on that planet miles away again. So let's just see what these next 3 planets are going to produce. Yeah, I'm not going to waste time manual saving on that planet back there, coming back here and hoping it changes to the A because it's miles away. So if these 3 planets here don't spawn anything, we'll just crack on to the next system, which we'd do anyway, but it's a shame because that, you never know. I mean, that planet might have been a tool worth looking for, but I'm not going to bother. It's too long-winded as it is. It's really interesting to see the full process though. Thank you, and that's Ricey. Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, it is a process, and like I said, it's not difficult to find an S-Class tool. It really isn't. It's just very time consuming, and it's a numbers game. The more systems that you go to, the more chance you've got of seeing different ships and different tools and stuff like that. Like I explained to somebody on Reddit the other day on text. He was asking me. He sort of sent me a message and said, how do you find all these different ships, and how do you find all these different tools and stuff? Because I've been playing this game for like 400 hours, and casually playing for 400 hours, and I've never found an alien tool. And I sort of just explained to him that if you're looking for stuff in No Man's Sky, if you're not a builder and you're not an explorer, and you want to find something, and something good, No Man's Sky is a numbers game. And what I mean by that is most players will typically spend several hours in each system, either playing with friends exploring each planet, building. You know, some builds can take hours upon hours upon hours, and yeah, they will stay in the same system for like 2, 3, 4, up to like 10 hours at a time. And I explained to the guy that if you want to find interesting things in this game, you've got to play the yeah, this is glitching now. I'm just going to forget this system because I've made a note of it and I'm going to have to show Zane. So I'm going to quickly just do my glyphs there, make a note of this. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I'm actually going to move on now because I'm not going to bother looking for the A class. In fact, let me just do one map while I'm here. Yeah, so you've got to play that. If you're looking for specific stuff in this game, whether it be ships or tools or planets or whatever, you've got to play the numbers. And what I mean by that is every system has 21 ships. Every system has a maximum of 21 multitools. Every system has a maximum of 6 planets or 6 bodies. That's maximum. And if somebody stays in the same system for 2 or 3 hours, you're only ever going to see 21 different ships, 21 different tools, half a dozen different types of fauna, a dozen or so different types of flora, a maximum of 6 different planets, and 6 possible different biomes. So the longer you spend in each system, the less you're seeing of this game. So someone like me that will speed through and spend sort of 15 minutes to half an hour in each system and just do that, I'm going to see hundreds of ships, hundreds of different tools, hundreds of different planets, hundreds of different biomes, hundreds of everything in the same time that somebody staying in that same system for 5 hours will see. So if you're looking for stuff in this game, you can't stay in the same spot. You've always got to be moving forward, and you've got to continually go to as many different systems as you can. So this save I've not been playing for long, but this is one of my newer ones, I think. But just to show you, so already I've just on this save, I've got 9 saves, by the way. Just on this save, I've walked 1,400 times, nearly 1,500 times. Yeah, so I've seen 1,500 different systems, 1,500 different, well, you know, thousands of different planets, thousands of different ships, thousands of different tools, and I haven't been playing this save for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. And that is what you need to do. You've got to do the numbers game. If you don't play the numbers, you're not going to see anywhere near as much as hunters, whether it be hunting ships or tools or whatever. You've got to play the numbers game. Yeah, right, I'm going to move on to the next system now. Yeah, good analogy. Yeah, well, that's the way it is. No Man's Sky is a numbers game. It's so big and it's so vast that you've got to try and explore as much as you can and get to as many different systems as you can. Otherwise, you're just going to see the same old shit all the time. So that doesn't apply to builders, because builders are builders. You know, they stay in the same spot for a long time. Right, looks like at least 4 planets, and doesn't look like there's any moons there. So that's where I'm going. It's a tier 3 and a tier 3 Viking. first contact. Oh, there's one moon. That's a bummer. And you watch. I'm going to guarantee that all the buildings are going to spawn on that moon. Unless this station cabinet is an A-class or an S-class, that would be ideal. An S-class cabinet. Right, so what have we got here? Let's have a look. Looks like a standard pistol. That's a starter pistol, and it's a C-class. So that's just the basic starting pistol. What everyone's, I think it's normally red, isn't it? The pistol that we start with, or orange. But that is a starting pistol. So once again, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try and get lucky and get an A-class straight away. Oh, just 1 second. I just want to check this shit. Ah, I thought that was a needle. Not interested in that. Right, let's go. Let's go. Right, I guarantee, I bet this is taking me to a moon. Oh my god, it hasn't. That is a result, unless it's tucked behind this planet. Yeah, you don't want to be doing any searches for multi-tools on moons. They're a pain in the backside. Please don't be a moon. Sweet. Right. That's good. Right, let's see what we've got. I'm going to try and crack on and do this pretty quickly now. Red and cream alpha vector. Oh, I love an alpha. They are my #1 ships, alphas. Right, Bosch, A-class. I don't care. I'm going to assume that this is the natural A-class. It's got horns, which is a good sign. It means that potentially, not always, it's not a rule, but potentially it means that there could be another exotic tool or another tool with exotic parts in this system. So right, that's good. That's one out of 1 there. So I'm going to place the beaker and I'm going to change it to pink. Put that there. I'm going to just reload. No, crappy pistol. So let's go to the next planet. But can you see how? I mean, that happens a lot as well, by the way. Like within 1, 2, 3, or 5 settlements, I get the A-class. The longer searches are not that common, and you can see, by doing this in every system and not being guided and driven by what's in the space station, this is actually a quicker way to find tools, I think. Personally, that's just my experience. So yeah, I'll try and just get the planets that are miles away out the way with first, because they're a pain in the arse. Like, it takes like 50 seconds to get here. I really do wish that you could just like point at a planet and just like, I don't know, sort of light speed there and just get there straight away. It just saves so much time, so much time. Not that anyone's probably that interested, but just very quickly while I'm here, I'm going to show you my freighter. This freighter I found really popular on Reddit. It's not. It would have been better without that spoiler. It would have been better with a the tower bridge, but it's a really, really nice grey and white, but a dark gunmetal grey. And this is documented on Reddit, so you can come and you can find this. But this freighter is absolutely class. It's my best. I mean, I like the system freighters as well. Like I really like the Oculus freighters, but in different lights it shows as black and white, but it's actually that really nice gunmetal grey. And yeah, like if you're interested in, and I've tried to build my fleet out so it's like a red and grey. But yeah, it's a class colour scheme, that really, really good. Anyway, I digress. The only downside is it's not a 181. I think it was a 180 or a 179.9 or something. Very close to it, but it wasn't the maximum hyperdrive range. I haven't bothered upgrading it, as you can see. You do the Vulnerama method for ship hunting, yeah, that's the way to do it, definitely. It's the fastest way to ship hunt. Red and yellow. Yeah, I have a white and grey Oculus. Yeah, the white and grey Oculus. I love Oculus freighters. I love them. They are my favourite freighter in this game, the Oculus. But they have to have not the Starscream boosters at the rear. I like them with those sort of the spiked wings. I think what they call polyhedral, like what you get on the haulers. But yeah, the Oculus freighters, I love them. That freighter though, I got it on this playthrough, and it probably took about it was a good like hour and a half of reloading, but I did the same freighter there that I've got. I did that on a permadeath run. I was doing a permadeath series, and it took me 160 or 170 reloads to get that freighter. I had to do it over 2 streams, and basically there was only about 2 or 3 people watching by the end of it, as you can imagine. But yeah, it was like 170 or 180 reloads. It was about 5 hours, 6 hours of reloading just to get that freighter. But I didn't want to give up. I was like, no, I'm not having it. I've got to get this in S-Class. And yeah, it was crazy. That's the longest I've ever had to do. Normally I can get them quite quickly, but I'm quite lucky with freighters. Never really spend too much time looking for an S. with the solar array, the Enterprise. Yeah, I know which ones you mean. Yeah, they're quite nice. I like them because they're not everyone has capital freighters, don't they? Like either the Dreadnought or the Venator. So I like the system ones because they're a bit different. Crappy pistol. So yeah, those Oculuses are nice. They it's because they're based on the 2001 Space Odyssey, aren't they? The ship from there. I'm actually going to land at this settlement here. So in those maps that I used and unlocked, it actually unlocked 2 minor settlements. It unlocked one on this planet as well. That doesn't often happen. It does happen, but it doesn't often happen. So I'm just going to land here just to see if this is potentially an S-class cabinet. It probably won't be, but might as well have a look anyway. Yeah, red and white, red with a hint of yellow. The only thing with red and yellow ships, I find, is that they're a bit kind of Ronald McDonald, aren't they? Yeah, they're a bit hit and miss for me, red and yellow ships. Yeah, the Event Horizon as well, yeah, similar to that. I didn't like that film though, Event Horizon. I got quite bored watching that film. I've seen it a couple of times. And 2001, A Space Odyssey. It's a good film, but it's a bit of a weird one as well. Right, back up to the A-class cabinet. That's the problem, getting one that doesn't look crap. Yeah. But yeah, the ship in it's great. I forget what's the name of the ship in Space Odyssey. It's not Dave, is it? No. I can't remember now. But yeah, it's a good film, that. Really good. Stanley Kubrick, isn't it? Did that film. The film I'm really looking forward to is going to see the new Batman. I'm a bit of a Batman fanboy. I love that series. Just make sure this isn't changing cast as well. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it, but I don't listen to reviews. I'll make my own mind up on that. Right, how many more have we got to do? We've got 3. 3 and the moon. That's it. How? Yeah. That's the name of the AI on the ship, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hal. Yeah, really straight. It's good, but it's got it's there's it's the ending for me. I was just a little bit like, that's a bit weird. I had to watch it about 2 or 3 times, that film, to sort of kind of get what it all means and read up on it as well. JL Green, welcome to the stream. I hope you've had a good Monday so far. Right, let's just land anywhere. This is one of those chromatic fog planets, isn't it? I hate these filters, they look terrible. It's also IBM. Discovery 1. Oh, is that the... So Discovery 1 is the name of the ship. That's right. But HAL is the AI on the ship. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's the Discovery 1. That brings back memories. Yeah, cheers, Jail Green. Thanks for the like. All the likes help. H to I, A to B, and L to M. What is it? He says it's when they're trying to get the door open. Open the doors. So open the doors, Dave. I can't remember what he says, but when he's shutting out the airlock. Open the door, Hal. One of my favourite sci-fi series though is Alien. I love those films. They got a bit silly, like the last couple. Like the fourth one, Resurrection, was pretty shit. But I love the story and kind of everything about it. Really good. But then I'm also a massive Terminator fanboy as well. So I still think to this day people can hate on me and crucify me. Terminator 2, best sci-fi film ever made. I love it. I've watched that film about 20 times since I was a kid. That's it. Open the pod. That's it. Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Just so calm. Sorry, Dave. I can't do that. That's kind of how it's all going to go, though, one day, isn't it? Sort of laugh and joke about it and Terminator and all that, but as Elon Musk says, if we don't get on top of it now and regulate it and do it all properly, we're doomed. JL Green's, I don't get to catch very many live streams. Appreciate the great content. I've gone after a lot of your MTs. No worries, man. Glad I can be of service. Glad that you found some. And like I said, I know you're probably popping in and popping back out, but there's a troll on my back at the moment, and if you do go to any of my recent finds and you see the base is blocked, just make sure you report that guy, because the more reports he gets, hopefully the quicker he's going to get a ban from this game. And that's not a nice thing to say, but basically just don't be a dick, and that's kind of what you should expect to get, I think, if you're going to do it consistently. So yeah, the more people that report this guy, the better. Beeblebum put a video up at the weekend about it, and he actually specifically used one of my, or two of my settlements in the videos to talk about how to deal with trolls. So yeah, the more reports that guy gets, the better. Really bad as well. He's I'm not going to go into any detail about it, but in a nutshell, even one of his mates, so I've blocked him on all social media and everything, and obviously reported him, but one of his mates has actually been contacting me via Facebook Messenger and given me violent abuse and stuff. Like, it's actually got to that point where he's copped the ump because he's been called out, and he's been called out on Facebook. We know who he is, and he's got the ump about it. But for some reason, one of his mates has randomly started giving me and 2 or 3 other people that run the Interstellar Index Facebook group abuse, like bad, like violent abuse, like threats, to the point of threats. So if he carries on pushing his luck, this guy, and if he carries on with his mates doing what he's doing, he's going to get a report by the police eventually. So he's got to be dealt with, this guy, because he's an arsehole. And I don't know what his problem is. Got no idea. He's got a real bee in his bonnet with me for some reason. Well, this system loves the starting pistol. That's three different types that we've seen now, and we've got just one more planet, or 2. Yeah, just one more planet to do. Oh, it's nearly 10 o'clock UK time. I might have to actually call it a night soon. I'll go until 10 and see how I feel. Not used to streaming this long. This looks like a nice planet. Paradise. There we go. This is, I think, are we in Euclid? Yeah, I think this is Euclid, yeah. So this is the starting galaxy. I'll see what this planet's like, and if you want to, oh, this looks like it could be a yellow or orange sky. That's not my thing. But it's a paradise planet, and it's got these avatar sort of floating rocks. It looks like it's that flora that lights up at night as well. Yeah, it's got glowing flora. If anyone wants to come to this planet, this is the glyphs at the bottom left. I won't be, unless there's a tool from this planet, I won't be setting up shop here, but yeah, they're the glyphs at the bottom left. If anyone wants to come on over and crack on. Right, I'm just going to see what this, oh, this is the A class. So that is, so this is the A class tool spawning into a B class cabinet. So actually, if I reload a save here, this is going to be the A class tool. So I'll just leave that save beacon on that planet and just head off if this isn't a decent tool. Right, so here we go. An alien pistol. So this is an alien, a red skinned, red and black rear spikes, black crystal clip. Teeth, they're standard on these pistols, and top bone. Now, I don't often search for pistols these days, but this one isn't too bad. It's kind of, the colours go, it's a colour coordinated pistol. For me, so the best pistol I've ever found, like just alien wise, is this one. So this red is a bit darker. These two shark teeth horns with the green glowing lights that go with the green here. This colour and these green glow is really rare, particularly on this pistol. But for me, this pistol here, although there's no like crystal going on down here or here, the colour for me and everything, this is my perfect pistol. Like, I don't think I'll find a nicer pistol than this. But look, I'm just going to show you, this is this pistol in that colour. And look, I'm going to look at this one now. Can you see how it's a lighter red? And it's slightly different. It's got the bones there and that. So, although it's a very, very, very subtle difference, it makes a really big difference to me. And most people might not even notice that, but I do. Yeah, that red is not, you don't see that often. And the white trim with black with this red is sick, and it goes really, really well with this. This is rare, a rare finish. So I would obviously all day long hunt for this, but this one here would be kind of hit and miss for me. I might hunt, I might not, but just for the sake of this stream, I'm now going to see if this is actually a natural A class, because I think this is an A class that's spawned into this B class cabinet. So I'm actually going to start the hunt for this right now, and I'm going to do it for the next sort of 20 minutes and then probably call it a night, and then crack on in a different stream. But so to see my first exotic tool, it's taken me nearly 2.5 hours, and we're coming to the end of, this is the 4th system. So it's taken 4 systems of hunting just to find one tool so far, and it's not even like a spectacular like whoopie-doo tool. So that sort of gives you an idea of kind of what's involved. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to forget about this. I'm going to forget about the. It's right above me, so I can't see it. There's a save beacon up on the planet above us. You can't see it, but I'm just going to leave that up there. Not interested in that now, because this planet, that tool is part of this planet's multi-tool pool. So what I'm going to do is stay on this planet and find the next settlement. So anyone that comes through to this planet now, once I post this find, if it is an actual A class, that is, this could actually turn out to be a B class here, and I've done a wrong one. But yeah, if this is an actual A class, which I think it is, we should be able to find this as an S class. So I'm just going to do a little bit of scouring here just to see exactly what we're dealing with, and if this is, I'll know pretty quickly whether this is going to be an A class or not. But if it is an A class, I can definitely find this as an S class, which is good. Right, so what I do at this point, yeah, is in between, so when I begin the hunt for an S class, in between each settlement, I do keep an eye out below for other settlements, because at this point now, I want to go to as many settlements as I can, as quickly as I can. And actually, if you scour, I don't do it all the time, but if you do scour the landscape as you get closer to the one that you've got currently highlighted, you do often see minor settlements appearing within quite a close proximity of one another. So I just keep a little eye out. I don't like do it all the time, but I just keep an eye out for another one, and I'll land there first before going to the one that's marked, so that you kill another one off, so you're not using up all your maps basically. Right, let's see what this is. Please don't be an A. Right, that's a C, that's good. Let's get cracking on. So just to refresh, at this point we've got this planet's multitool pool as the active pool, because I've reloaded on this planet, so this is the active pool that is now in the system-wide pool. And we've just seen there we've got a C class in this pool, and at this point I'm assuming that the tool that we're hunting now is the natural A class. There's just another note, there's no such thing as a natural native S class tool. So let me just say it again, there's no such thing as an S class tool. The only tools that you can get in this game are C, B and A, but an A class can spawn in an S class cabinet. Right, this is the C class. Could be a B, but this is C. This is the natural C class. So we're going to quickly speed through, try and get 10, 15 done. I'm going to try and keep a rough count. I'm not going to bother doing the waypoints here just to see, but I'm going to try and keep a rough count on how many settlements we've been to, so that we can sort of get an idea as to how long it will take. Alright, that's a good sign that. So I think we are after the A class. This is more than likely, I think, the B class tool in the system. So look, if we carry on going, I'm just going to show you. So a tool in its native class. It comes with a bit of experience, but how you can tell what tool, so how you can tell a tool is in its native class or not, is when you're searching through these settlements, if this tool is in fact an A-class native tool, a native A-class, A-skinned natural tool, probably about 7 or 8 settlements out of 10 it will appear as an A-class, and 2 or 3 times out of 10 it will be a B-class, and very rarely, very rarely, it will spawn up one into an S-class. If this was a natural B-class, it would appear a lot more often as a B-class than it would as an A or a C. So that tool there has spawned twice as a C and once as a B. So that's not enough really to tell me whether this is a C or a B, but because it has already spawned twice as a C, that it's highly likely, because we've already seen a B class tool as well, like first time spawn as a B class, it's highly likely that this is a natural C class tool, this one. And this stuff I'm talking about might sound a bit confusing, but actually you don't even really think about it. Once you've done several hunts and stuff, you start seeing, I guess, like patterns. So it's almost like I don't really like when, as I'm going through, I'm just trying to explain it as easy as I can, because it's just sort of natural to me, like, because I've done it obviously hundreds and hundreds of times. I don't need to think about any of this, I just kind of know it. These ones are a bit annoying, that kind of sort of glitch into the walls and stuff. Right, let's see what we've got. This would probably be C. Yeah, this is definitely the C class tool. So this is probably about the 4th or 5th settlement. Oh, what's that? Is that a building? Oh. Again, this would be a C, because it's a natural C. So you'll see that this tool will spawn a lot more often as a C, because it's a natural C class. If anyone's wondering what's just happened there, I've only got 4 buildings highlighted at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5 now. The 6th building, it highlighted this shelter. So these are defined as shelters. So that's what that's just done. So actually, if I just do this now, I'll just quickly highlight the 6th building again. It should pop. There we go. Right. So let's get on to this. There we go, it's uncovered another shelter somewhere. So we'll just ignore that. Right, now this should be an A. There we go. So this is the natural A class, I can guarantee that. So 100% I will, by the time I finished either the stream tonight or the next stream this week, I will have found this as an S class without fail. Because this is a natural A class tool, I will find this as S class. I won't keep it for myself, but I'll definitely keep it to post. Once this troll has buggered off and got bored, I'll get this posted. But anyway, I'll keep cracking on. It's a tier 3 economy, this one as well. Yeah. Yep. So this planet looks like it's got just 3 different types of tools. And there's a maximum of 5 per planet as well. And what actually happens, so just on that as well, so you're thinking, well, if there's 5 tools on a planet and you can only get tools in a C, B and A class, well, how does that work then? And what actually happens is, if there's a maximum of 5 tools on that planet, 2 of those tools will be the same class as 2 of the other tools, so you might get 2 Bs and 2 As. Now the real annoying thing about that is, if you've got 2 A class tools in the same pool on the same planet in the same system, only one of those A class tools can spawn into the S class cabinet. Even if they're both native natural A class tools, only one of them can spawn into the S class cabinet. Now when you're doing your search, if you do have a situation where you've got 2 A class tools and kind of sort of, 50% of the time one of the A class tools is shown as A, the rest of the time as B, and it's the same for the other tool, it can be really difficult to define which one the system is going to decide is the tool that it's going to choose to spawn into the S class cabinet. However, the signs will definitely be that the tool that's going to go into the S class cabinet, that tool will definitely appear more consistently in A class cabinets as opposed to the other A class tool. So it's definitely not uncommon for that to happen. It's not common, but it's not rare that you get 2 tools in the same as the same class as one another. And it's basically just, when that happens, it's a case of just pushing on and seeing which tools are spawning more often as an A class. There's been plenty of occasions where I've had a really, really, really nice tool spawn in the system, but it's one of 2 A classes, and that's the tool that hasn't decided to spawn into the S class cabinet. Really, really frustrating. But you can tell before you kind of push all the way to the end and get to the S class, there are signs there kind of to stop. Like, if you don't want to bother with it, just there are signs to stop early on your search. But that can be frustrating, and no one really knows when that situation arises of two A classes being in the same pool. No one actually yet has a definitive answer as to how the system decides which one of those A class flips into the S class cabinet. Yeah, I've got no idea on that. But each so each planet has a minimum of 2 tools, up to 5 tools, and every single planet has at least 1 A class tool. Might have no B classes. Like in a two tool system, it might not have any B classes, might not have any C classes, but there will be at least 1 A class, because every planet has a tool which can spawn into an S class cabinet, regardless of how many tools are in there. So every planet has to have an A class tool, a native A class. And as you'll see here on this tool, it's so far only spawned once as a B class, and every other time it's been A class. So this is, like, without a shadow of a doubt, a native A class tool. Because, like I said at the very start of the stream, if you've got an A class tool and it's a native A class, for every 10 settlements, every 10 cabinets that you go to, at least 7 or 8 times out of 10 it will spawn in its native class as A, and then the other 2 times or the other 3 times it will be B, and very, very rarely it will be an S and we get the S. Silent Robot says, I'd assume it's RNG since the whole system is procedural, weapons, ships, planet generation, system generation, etc. As for which algorithm is used to choose, who knows? Yeah, really, it's a strange one. Do you know what though? It's a funny one because so, I mean, you might. I don't data mine and do. I'm not like a techie like that, but we obviously have tested some things like between us all when it comes to like ship hunting and multi-tool hunting and stuff. And a really, really strange thing is so everything in this game is predetermined. Like everything, all the planets and all the multi-tool cabinets and everything is all predetermined, and how I know that is Lava Lamp. When we were testing this, Lava Lamp did a experiment, and he's got a PC, so he's got a Steam account. Yeah, but so it is seeded though, since that's how the yeah, it is, yeah. But so just to explain to people, so Lava Lamp did an experiment. He's got a PlayStation and he's got a PC. So he's got a Steam account and he's got a PS account, and he's got this game. I don't even need to look at this tool, by the way. So all the tools now are irrelevant. So I can just go in, look, if it's not the alien, I'm straight back out. So just a little note there. But going back to what I was saying, so Lava Lamp did an experiment with multi-tools, and what he did was he switched off his internet, on completely in his house. So the PlayStation and the PC had no internet connection whatsoever, and so there's no possible way of the servers registering what he's doing on the PC or what he's doing on the PlayStation. And he jotted down a random portal address, just a random address that was, I think it was in Euclid he did this, but he jotted down a random address, and on his PC, bearing in mind the internet is switched off, so it's just purely working on local save, on your local save file data. Nothing to do with the internet, nothing to do with servers and stuff like that. He then went to the space station on that random glyphs on the PC, and he then found an S-class multitool in that system. He then, again with the internet completely switched off, local saves only, switched over to his PlayStation, portaled through to that same system, and the same S-class cabinet with the same tool was in the same system. So all of these tools and everything that you see in this game is actually predetermined with the seed, and it's nothing to do with the servers. And that's why we're all trying to work out a way of finding within the data a way to find all of the S-class, rarest S-class tools you can possibly find. Now, we're not saying that there is a way, but with what he's done and what a couple of other people have done there, where just completely off the internet, the same stuff appears on two different platforms, it just shows that it's all seeded and all predetermined. It's already there, just waiting for you to unlock it. Really strange. I'm not sure, I'm not a techie, I don't know how it all works, but he did that and shared it with the group and stuff, and yeah, I thought that was quite mad, that out of all these quintillion places he could have gone, it's still the same, regardless to whether their servers are connected to your gameplay or not. That was on his local files. So there must be a way that you can find a way, like a code within the glyphs or something, where you know that a particular tool or something is going to appear. There's got to be a way that you can do it. There probably isn't, but I'm not sort of technical enough to know enough about that. So what I'm saying is this S-class tool in this system that I'm looking for, this was already here. Me just coming to this system, I've discovered this now, but this was already here as a seed waiting to be discovered. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's right. So so offline went to the same, so he first of all went to a completely random location, like he's never been there before, completely cold, on the PC. He went there completely randomly using a random set of glyphs, and then again offline, completely offline, once he found the S-class tool in that system, all offline, he then switched to his PlayStation account, no internet connection, and typed in those glyphs that he used, the random glyphs. He typed those exact glyphs in on his PS account, and that took him to the same system, and in exactly the same location, minor settlement was exactly the same S-class tool, without any internet connection on either platform, and it was purely registering his local save. So yeah, I mean, you might know more about that on the technical side than me, but I thought that that was quite amazing. Cheers, Johnny. Gotta go. Thanks, and look forward to seeing more live stream MT hunting. Take care, everyone. Well, at least you're enjoying it. I didn't think it would be something worth watching, to be fair, which is why I've never done it. But if people are enjoying it, I'm happy to do a couple more and stuff. So look, we've got a B class here. So this is the second B out of 7 or 8 tools now of this particular variety. So this is the second B class. So as I said, kind of 2 or 3 times out of 10 you'll get the lower class, but most of the time you'll get the native class of the tool spawning. The combination, yeah, it's a formula, isn't it? They did post the formula to work out the how it all sort of works itself out, but actually it's so I think it was Pez S. He broke it down for me on Discord, like into really simple explanations, and it looks like a really complicated formula with millions and trillions of possibilities, but actually when you break it down it doesn't quite work like that. Yeah, it would be great to get someone on the stream just to explain the kind of proper ins and outs of how this all works, but it is really interesting, the procedural side. No worries, Johnny, glad you liked it. Brycey says it's fun to see the process and be the first to discover the treasure with you, plus your insight. yeah, that's right. You guys are the first to see whatever I see on the live stream. But yeah, I mean, even now, I mean, I've been playing the game for on and off the last the last year. I've not played anywhere near as much, but. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing on and off literally since day one. I mean, when it released, it was a bit of a mess, and I must admit, I was like, Jesus Christ, you know, this is not really kind of what we wanted. But I actually still enjoyed it. I quite liked it. I think within the first 6 months of release, I still managed to rack up about 250 hours on the game. It didn't really bother me. I didn't really get I was quite lucky because I didn't really encounter a lot of the bugs that were like, there was one bug that was the same for everyone, like literally day one you couldn't leave the system. It was a really odd one with your ship, and then they patched it quite quick. Yeah, it was really hard. Like this game, I think I asked Zane to do a live stream on the original game version, like to basically backdate the game to the older files and play the legacy version of the game on permadeath, just to show everybody actually how difficult this game was. And back then it was permadeath, it was actually, you know, very much a survival game. But yeah, these days the game is like you don't even need to think about survival. It's almost pointless of sort of having it in here. It's much more an exploration, chilled out game now. It's so easy. It took me, I mean, this is again back when I got the permadeath achievement, you know, quite a while ago, but this was kind of before you could actually use portals. So for me to get my permadeath achievement, I actually had to manually warp every single system, and using my freighter all the way to the centre of the galaxy. It took 74 or 75 hours just to get to the centre, doing it manually like that, with a maximum warp and everything. Like, it was a slog back in the day, a real slog. You can get the early version on the PC, yeah, there is a way to do it. I don't know what the way is, but you can definitely do it, yeah. Some people have done a few streams on it before. I think all you've got to do is either use the save editor or use a mod. Perhaps a mod might do it, I'm not sure, but there's definitely a way that you can do it. Quite a few people have done it, quite recently as well. Zach, I have asked Zane, and he did say that it would be quite fun to do that. So I think on one of his streams, hopefully he might do that, and it would be really cool, like really nostalgic, watching him do it. Because yeah, it was tough, like really tough. It was brutal. Like you started off on normally a terrible planet. You know, instant storms and long storms as well, and like half the time you were kind of just using your sort of terrain manipulator thing, a bit different to the one we've got now, and basically just building your own little cave, and like so much of it was like hiding in caves and stuff like that, because there was no like Eon batteries and stuff like that. It was like using the resources. There we go, boom, S-Class, boom, boom, boom. Managed to get it done on one stream, there we go. So that was about 15 settlements there. But there we go. S-Class, maximum 10 slots, because this is a pistol, oxide translator, red, sort of normal red, white bone or cream bone teeth, black crystal clip, and rear black and red crystals. So there we go. So that took this tool, it took us 4 different systems. It took knocking on 3 hours, and then it took a further 15 minor settlements from the point of finding this tool. So it took about 2 or 3 settlements to find the A-class cabinet, and then from that point onwards it took about 15, maybe 16 minor settlements to find this S-Class. So this whole process of finding just one tool has taken around about 3 hours, but the actual process to find the S-Class cabinet was not even half an hour. So I'm going to just repeat that for people that might watch this stream back and skim. The whole process from the start of my stream to finding an exotic to then finding the S-Class cabinet of just one tool, and the only tool worth finding, was over 3 hours. But it took just half an hour to find the S-Class cabinet from when we actually found the tool. And there we go. So what I do now is I go out here and I first of all mark it. So I put a little beacon down there. I then call my freighter in, and then I build a comm station, and I always do, this is my same process that I've done for years. I then go on here, and just for everybody's sake I will say Austintacious. Oh, spelt my name wrong. Austintacious alien finds. So I'll do that, and then what I'll do again is I'll go here and I'll put a base right there. I'll make this orange. And then I just quickly name it and claim it. And you'll see me doing this, by the way. So as you can see, I've got everything off here. No one can touch this. Yeah. Put that to no one. Yeah, so no one can touch this base at all, right? And you've seen me do this. So if anyone says you're full of shit, you've seen me do it. So Austintacious. No, I'm not going to put that. Yes. Glass. Red. Alien pistol. So we've now named the base. And then what I'm going to do is, this is all the shit I have to do for the community. Where is it? There it is, message module. Whack that there. And then reload save, and then finally, so that I can upload the base, you need 7 parts. I think you need 7 parts. So I just do this, I do a quick door, I do the, oh, I need some carbon nanotubes. Quickly plonk that in there, and then plonk one of these just there, 2 of these, hook them up, and then finally, where is it? This, back it at the front. I normally put it there. So that now is my, if I want to come back here, I've just got an easy way of getting back to where I was, like the last system I was in. And then I just simply go to here and upload it. So that is now uploading. And then what I'll do is normally I'll wait about 4 or 5 days here for this to upload, just to make sure it's mine and it's all discovered. I'll do that as well, so that everything here stays in my name. And then kind of on the sort of 3rd, 4th or 5th day, depending how much of a backlog I've got, I will then post the find. So what I'll do is I'll come back here and basically do all the pictures, take all the pictures, edit all the pictures. So I've cut the tool out. I use, by the way, anyone's wondering how I do the pictures and stuff, I use Photoshop, Adobe. So my brother's in the film industry and he gets that free, so I don't actually pay for it. I'm a user of his account, and he just showed me basic photo editing and stuff. So I basically cut this tool out and plonk it on like a sort of a dark background, and then make a picture and then do a video. And I just basically always start on the space station. Normally I start at the space station, fly down to the planet here now. I'll then get in the ship and take a picture of the coordinates there, so I know where we are. And that is it. So that is how you find an S-Class. And if you wanted to, I mean, if you had time, like, you know, a couple of hours a night, and, you know, you love this game, you could find one of these every day. I mean, I see comments of people going like, oh my God, like, how do you guys find S-Class tools? Like, I've never found one in the 200 or 300 hours I've been playing. I've never found one. And it's like, you know, I could find like one a day if I really wanted to, because you can find them. It's easy. It's just very time consuming, and once you know what you're doing, it's easy. It's not difficult. It's like, as I said before, it's like finding an S-Class freighter every time you go hunting for a multi-tool. You've got to be prepared that you could find it in 10 minutes. Literally, you could go to the space station and that could be an S-Class tool on the space station. And likewise, you could fly down to your first planet, pop a chart, and that first settlement is an S-Class and a good tool. It happens a lot. It's not uncommon. But unless you know what you're doing and you understand sort of how to do it, you could literally play for hundreds of hours and never see one, because you don't know what to do. You're just relying on basically pure luck of being in the right place at the right time and stumbling across a minor settlement that has an S-Class cabinet. Like, it is and that's the annoying thing. Like, so often we see on Reddit random people that just play the game casually post up this amazing S-Class tool and just like casually put it up with like, found this tool, here's the coordinates, and I'm like, do you know how freaking rare that tool is? That'd take me about 1,000 hours of actively hunting a tool to find something like that, and you've just and then the guy gets like 20 upvotes, and I just feel so sorry for them, because they don't realise how much luck is involved with it. And especially the space station, that like to finding an S-Class cabinet on a space station is definitely not uncommon. Like, I found loads, like, all the time, and there is a lot of S-Class station cabinets, but actually to stumble across an S-Class space station cabinet that has an exotic tool in it that's also good, honestly, you don't know how rare and difficult that is. Like, I could probably count on one hand, bearing in mind I've been through thousands and thousands of systems, I can probably count on one hand how many times a space station cabinet has produced a decent S-Class tool. Like, it is super, super rare. And again, these people on Reddit, the random people, they post a picture of like a pretty decent S-Class tool on the space station so casually, and I'm like, you don't know how bloody like, how rare that actually is. Like, but anyway, so you've seen kind of the process here, and hopefully you can see how it all comes together. And there's a lot of stuff, by the way, that I've probably missed and haven't explained fully. So perhaps if I do another couple of streams, I'll show you kind of the ins and outs of it. Just briefly while I'm here though, for anyone that's still interested, I've got a bit of a backlog of tools at the moment. So what I'll just very quickly do, if you want, because I'm going to be finishing quite soon, but I'll just very, very briefly show you a few of the tools that I've got to post. So I'll quickly go into a couple of my saves here, and I'll show you just a sort of brief preview of some tools that I've got. None of them are that special, by the way, but this is just a bit of a backlog, because what I tend to do is, once I've found a tool, I won't move on to another system on that save. What I'll do is, just for the sake of making the video and taking pictures and stuff, I'll just, like here, I've spawned straight into a system that I've obviously previously found. So now I can just get cracking on with the pictures, video, and then I'll leave this save and move on to the next system on this save. So that's why I've got so many saves, because I've constantly got a backlog of tools. But this one here is really nice. It's pink. It's like a pinky red, but more pink. Like normally, these experimentals are typically red, but this is much more of a pink, and quite rare. This, it's not anything special, but just the actual colour of it is sort of borderline pink, and you don't see many of these. So I've got this one to post. This is going to be coming up hopefully in the next week. I discovered this one about a week ago here, and on this save I use, this is my most favourite tool. This tool here was my first ever plasma tube discovery. I found this about 2 years ago, and it's really popular, this one. A lot of people in the community have picked this tool up. It's got a good name, like arc absorber, going with the things here. And in first person, these tools look great. I mean, look at that. So I'll quickly come out here. In first person, these glow tubes are really, really, really cool. And as you'll see, look at the tubes. They're blue now, and I'm going to change. So they're blue. But now watch. I'm going to change my weapon now. Ready? Green. And then back to blue. And they actually move. So there's only 2 tools in the entire game that have like animations, like animated moving parts. At the bottom left there of the screen, on the tool, you can see the clip rotating around. That happens on every tool. But the exotic part there, the plasma tubes, they're actually moving. There's actually movement in those tubes. Like you'll see it moving. And only one other alien tool has an exotic part that moves like that. So yeah, these are super rare. So I've got that one. I've got again this one here, another plasma tuber with the horns, which is this one here. It's probably one of my best finds to date, this one. And what else have we got? Yeah, I've got my crystal. So this is my yellow crystal. I love this one. Wasn't that popular, this one. Not many people have bothered with this, but that's one of my favourite tools. I've got this one. This is my favourite crystal. So it's like a peach and white crystal. These are all documented as well. And by the way, the only experimental tools that come with this grey trim, the grey trim on the barrel, the grey wires and the grey tubes and butts, the only experimental tools you can find this grey trim on, because it's normally black, are tools with crystals. It's a unique trim just for these tools, so it's super rare. And then finally we've got this one here, another crystal of mine. It's quite a nice one, this one. This one's got black, so yeah, that's different, and a black trim there. But some of these produce grey, and you can only get that grey trim with crystals. Don't know why, it's just the way it is. So anyway, that's that. So what I'll do is I'll just show you a couple more for people that are still hanging on, that I'm going to be finding. So where are we? think there's one on this permadeath save. Yeah, and there's a couple that I haven't found the S class for yet, but I'm still actively hunting for them. So what is this one? I'm not sure what this one is. Ah, right, this one. So that's the space station. So if I just quickly fly up to the space station, yeah, this is a really rare tool, this one. So planet Atium. I've got, so yeah, not the space station. Let me just reload on. This is a white experimental with gold decals, and I've recently found this actually. I think I only found this about 3 days ago. So this one I discovered 5 days ago, but I found this about, I think I found it on Saturday. So what are we, Monday? Yeah, a couple of days ago I found this one. But yeah, this isn't anything like special. It's got no like crystal or anything like that. But gold decals are incredibly rare on experimentals, like really, really, really rare. And this is an experimental rifle with gold decals. So I'll quickly show you this. So I've got a reload a save on this planet. Ricey says they're lovely. Yeah, there's a few nice ones there. Yeah, that save is like my legacy save. As you saw, it's got like 700 hours on it, that one. So that one's got like a super like massive freighter base. It's got a lot of land bases. It's got my favourite planets. Like I've done a lot of exploration on that save. I've had that for years, kind of about 3 years, 4 years now. So that's my sort of main save, if you like, that survival save. So I like having that with some of my favourite tools. But to be fair, I mean, I only ever really use one. the others are just sort of eye candy, really. Every now and then you just want to switch over and stuff. But yeah, this one here, again, it's not majorly special, but it is rare. And I'll be posting this one soon as well. So look, it's nothing special, no like parts or anything, but what makes it a bit special is these gold decals. Yeah, they are extremely rare. Any form of gold decal on any experimental, very, very, very rare. And it's got a great name to go with it, the gleaming mass capacitor with the gold. So yeah, this is a super rare one, this. Even though it hasn't got crystal or plasma, very difficult. I've only found about 2 or 3 that have got gold, so that's cool. And then on this save I've got, I'm working with a crappy C-class that I need to swap out. So I'm going to grab this, once I've done the video I'm going to grab this one here. And I've got a crappy alien, so I'm going to get rid of this as well. This is quite a newish save, this one. Rubbish alien there as well. However, this is probably one of my favourite alien finds, and this find here, these lipsticks are incredibly rare. But obviously the colours here are just brilliant. Like, it's a proper evil looking tool. I love it. Beeblebums picked this up for his orange save as well. Got a good name, Herald of the Ancients. It's very Doom-esque. And this tool here is the latest tool that's been blocked by the troll. So it's one of my most recent posts, this one, and this has been blocked by the troll. So if you do see this tool and you want to go and grab it, you'll need to report the guy to get access to the settlement that this tool is on. So anyway, that's that one. I'll quickly just show you a couple more for the ones that are left, and then I'm going to call it a night. So let's see what else we've got here. Normal. I don't think there's anything. I've just started this normal save because I've had to create so many saves to keep up with all these fines and stuff. I'll just quickly see what this one is. Okay, this is a space station job, I think. Just one sec. If it's the alien, I won't bother showing this one because it's not anything. Yeah, that's just sort of a standardish alien, so just bear with me. I'll just see what other ones I've got. So where was we there? Permadeath. Let's have a look at this permadeath one. But anyway, you've had for people that are still here. I mean, you've done well really to last this long, to be fair. But you've had sort of a good insight there into my world and my little thing in this game. So this is one here. As you can see, I haven't found the S-Class yet, but I've been sort of on the fence about this one, about whether I'm going to actually go for the hunt or not. Because it's all right. I mean, it'd be interesting for people that are currently watching this. Do you think this tool is worth hunting for an S-Class? Like, is it cool or not? I'm a bit on the fence myself, but I mean, the black crystals are quite cool. But I'm not really a blue and red person. That's the only thing that puts me off, is the blue and red. But anyway, so I've got to actually find this tool in S-Class. So I haven't done this one yet, but as you can see, what I do is I'll leave the save at a settlement where the tool is that I've got to find, because sometimes I can lose track of what I'm doing and stuff. So this is always going to be the tool that I've still got to find. So anyway, yeah, I've got that one. Let's just have a look at two more. So where was we? The permadeath. Then this was the expedition that I've just finished. So I'd use it. I have a red, black, blue save it would go with. All right, well I'll I'll find that then, because if you would use it, then I'm sure that there's some other people out there that would use it as well. Still here, but did not offer a bit. Don't blame you, mate. So what are we doing here? Don't know what I'm doing with this one. Looks like I'm still searching. Yeah, that's an odd one. Probably no idea what's going on with that save. This is my this was my expedition save, by the way. As you can see, like every single system found by somebody else. Oh, actually, I know exactly what I'm doing. Oh, so yeah, I'm going to show you this actually. Like, do you think this is bad or not? So, in fact, let me just go up to the space station. Right, so I did a random. I was randomly going through all the systems. So literally, this is what I was doing. So this is the community expedition, and basically, I was trying to get as far away from all like the discoveries as I could. So I was literally just doing this and going out in one direction like this and going, right, I'll go to that system there, and then changing direction and going, right, I'm going to go here. I'm not kidding, as you've just seen, every single system that I've been to, like, so many people must have done this expedition because they've all been discovered, right? And these are like miles apart. Anyway, long story short, I've turned up in this system here, and there were only, it was discovered by this guy, I don't know who this is, Dictator, and he only discovered 2 planets. So I thought, well, this guy's obviously been here, he's not an explorer, he's not a hunter, and he's basically been in, looked at a planet and just buggered off to the next system. That's fine. Anyway, I've gone to the space station, so I'll head there now. And this is also a tier 2 system. It's not a tier 3. Anyway, I've gone to the space station. So we'll get there in a second. Now it'd be good to see what you think I should do with this, because I'm actually looking for a tool in this system, but this system isn't my discovery. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this S-class tool and then credit this guy. I don't know who this guy is, but he obviously found this system like 2 weeks ago. But he has no idea probably that there's any S-class tools in this system. But this is actually quite a nice alien rifle. So anyway, I've come into here and I'm going to reload my save on here, because obviously we need to respawn the space station pool. So this is the default pool that I was greeted with when I first came into this system, and I actually only came into this system to grab a I was looking for, I think, chromatic metal, and to continue upgrading my suit. I've still got, so I wanted to grab the anyway, I rock up to here. It's a lovely green and sort of luminous pink. Now obviously for the ladies out there and stuff, this is great, and I actually quite like pink, but this is a really, really nice tool. Really like really good colour, that obviously it's in your face, but it's an A-class tool. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a little look around for this, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find the S-class, and I will find the S-class of this tool, but I think the right thing to do is so I've discovered, so he's discovered 2 planets, and I've basically looked on all the others. So it's his system, but what I'm going to do is when I find it, I'm going to credit him on the find. So when I make a video, I'm just going to make sure that, you know, he gets a mention, because I think that's fair, isn't it? Because what he's probably done is he's come into the system. He might have grabbed this tool himself if he could afford it, because bearing in mind it is an expedition, so he would have only had a few million, if that. And he might have grabbed this and just sort of explored the planet and gone, not knowing how to find the S-Class. But this is definitely, I've already checked, and this is definitely a natural A-Class tool, so I can definitely find this as an S-Class. So yeah, I think I'm going to credit him for the find and just find it. And then last but not least, I'll quickly show you if I've got one more. So let's check this. I think this one. Yeah, mention them and post the find. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Give them a bit of credit for that. But yeah, it's not like, it's not my thing, but I reckon there'll be a few people that might want to come and grab that if they've got like a pink fleet or a pink character or whatnot. Oh, this is what we were just doing. That might be it. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, I think that is it. Not unless, yeah, no, I think that's it. Let me just check this one. This is that tool. Yeah, so that's it at the moment. So nothing too special there, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's it. I think it's just coming up to 11 o'clock now, UK time, and definitely bedtime for me because of work in the morning. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream there. I'm pleased that we actually managed to get an S-Class of an alien tool, and yeah, look, the whole point of this is just to show you what I do, show you how it's done, and if you guys want to crack on and get involved in the grind and sort of help contribute towards some tool hunting, fill your boots. You've had sort of a basic intro there and quite an in-depth intro into how it's done and what you do, and I'll do another couple as well so you can sort of just see again, just a bit of a refresher. Hopefully they'll be a bit quicker this time around as well. Hopefully we might get one where we can do it in like an hour. But yeah, look, I appreciate everybody joining. It's been a nice stream that quite a few people joined, it looked like. So yeah, Ricey, cheers mate, thanks for coming along. Storm Chanter, Flying Brian, Silent Robot, Johnny, Fusion 59, JL Green, I'm going quite a way back now. Yeah, anyone else that I've missed, or anyone, the Master Beef, anyone else I've missed, or anyone that's been keeping quiet and just lurking, you know, appreciate that. Yeah, if I do another one, I hope to see you all again in that one. So yeah, that's it. Cheers, Ricey. Hit the like, everyone. No problem, Flying Brian. Excellent chat, thank you. Great stream. Yeah, no, really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Crash Test, thanks a lot. Well done, Austin. Great stream. Much appreciated, mate. Much appreciated. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. I'm quite tired now, as you can probably tell. I don't ever stream for that long, so yeah, really enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next stream. So I'm going to end it there, and have a good week. See you all soon.